country club pier, they're passing notes in blue, talking party colors like they're overdue. The old brass on the wall keeps asking what went wrong, but the new crew smiles soft and hums a borrowed song. Now the table's turning slow with a polished, patient glow. Everybody in the room feels the courage start to grow. Come in some Kool-Aid, sipping by the poolside. Communism Kool-Aid, say it with a straight face. Voters in the cool shade, passing cups around the parade. Communism Kool-Aid, and nobody knows what to say. Hillary's by the phone with a careful, worried look, reading every headline like a line she didn't book. She sees the banner shift, she hears the easy cheer, and the whole old playbook starts to fog up in the rear. Now the table's turning slow with a polished, patient glow. Everybody in the room feels the courage start to grow. Communism Kool-Aid, sipping by the poolside. Communism Kool-Aid, say it with a straight face. Voters in the cool shade, passing cups around the parade. Communism Kool-Aid, and nobody knows what to say. The marina keeps on shining while the arguments roll on. One side calls it progress, one side says the game is gone, and the tide keeps washing in like it owns the whole boardwalk. Smile State magazine bright while the dinner circles tall. Communism Kool-Aid, sipping by the poolside. Communism Kool-Aid, say it with a straight face. Voters in the cool shade, passing cups around the parade. Communism Kool-Aid, and nobody knows what to say. On the surface, heavy underneath, gentle as a summer wave rolling underneath the teeth. Easy on the surface, heavy underneath, gentle as a summer wave rolling underneath the teeth.
Oh, very good. Very good.
You're fascinating to talk to.
$250 million for meals that never hit a plate. Feeding our future, feeding luxury estates. Shell companies, fake kids, Mercedes and mansions, while the auditors shrugged and the checks kept advancing. Housing grants, Medicaid, autism meals on parade. Fraudulent and flying in $500 million, try 9 or more, they say. 90+ charge, conviction stacking high. Kids went hungry while the grifters took the sky, but they swear there's no voter fraud, not a single dirty vote, while the rest of the system's drowning in a money boat. High tax Minnesota, third highest rates we pay. Crime ain't even the worst, yet they still take it away. Look how silly the taxes, look how silly the trust, when the surplus vanishes and the fraud is a must. $18 billion surplus, biggest in the books. They spent it on new programs and permanent hooks. One-time check for some permanent growth for the rest. Now the forecast shows shortfalls, all the fraudsters get dressed. Roads could have been fixed, schools could have been strong, tax cuts for the people who've been carrying along a second home down south or boats on the lake. Instead we funded fake meals and the next big take, but they swear there's no voter fraud, not a single dirty vote, while the rest of the system's drowning in a money boat. High tax Minnesota, third highest rates we pay, crime ain't even the worst, yet they still take it away. Look how silly the taxes, look how silly the trust, when the surplus vanishes and the fraud is a must. Vouching on election day, trust us it's secure. Meanwhile, the nutrition program couldn't keep the door. Same state, same leaders, same nothing to see. One system's sacred, the other's free money for free. 18 billion could have bought a whole lot of sense. Instead, we got mansions and a budget that's tense. No fraud at the polls, they chant it so loud, while the rest of the ledger's under a fraud cloud. High taxes, low trust, and a system so sly. Minnesota's laughing all the way to the sky.
If it's big, you don't touch it. That's what I was taught.
Gave them energy. Gave them energy. Gave them energy. Gave them energy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Don, you're a total rock star. Love you so much and love the talk radio audience all throughout Minnesota. You do such a great job. I'm a big fan.
I think they vastly underestimate human horniness.
He speaks through static waves at dawn, a voice that lingers when night is gone. Twin cities hum with stories spun. John Justice rides the rising
It's hot.
sun.
It's very hot.
Seam of fizz in a plastic cup. Star Wars dreams keep lifting him up. Costco aisles is sacred ground, where neon shadows spin around.
I, as a heterosexual male, like the smell of women.
Tune in to laugh at these morons.
We come to this place for magic, to cry, to care.
Here's the thing about women. Women are insane.
All of us. That indescribable feeling we get.
Yes, queens.
And we go somewhere we've never been before.
It's a bold strategy,
Just
Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Somehow reborn. Together. Sound that I can feel. Somehow, heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
You're fascinating to talk
Our
to.
heroes feel like the best part of us. And stories feel perfect and powerful. Because here, they are.
I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
Get it started in here.
Well, and would you look at that? We made it to another Freedom Friday. First weekend of the Minnesota State Fair. Freedom Friday. We already have blasts rolling in with some fair commentary, and with the full house this morning on a Freedom Friday, we'll certainly be talking about the fair a bit and take your blast throughout the show this morning. As a matter of fact, I have an article a little bit later on in the Star Tribune. We're going to get some etiquette lessons on how one is supposed to act at the Minnesota State Fair. So I'm very curious to see what the group has to say about that. I am your host, John Justice. It is the John Justice Show presented by American Experiment. We have Isaac in once again producing the show on Freedom Friday. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I got a little worried yesterday. I went to get, fair tickets in house for, my appearance tomorrow, Center of the American Experiment in the Dan Patch area near the grandstand, near the Minnesotan booth. My friend Corey over there, shout out to the Minnesotan over in White Bear Lake. And I got home and I didn't have my tickets. A little bit of a panic. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with me yesterday. I had all kinds of issues. If you listen to the beginning of the show, I forgot to put the coffee mug underneath the coffee pod. I just was having all kinds of problems. I pulled the tickets out of the envelope, and I just left them on the desk. Well, I left them on Bill's desk and just walked away. I have no idea how I got distracted. I don't know. I have no idea what happened. So looking forward to the fair tomorrow. Hope you can make plans to come on out and join us again. I will be there 11 until 1, but Center of the American Experiment is going to be there for the entire day. We got a lot of great free stuff to give in studio today. They've been traveling, but they'll be back on the comfy chairs here in the American Experiment studio. Katherine Johnson and Grace Keating. Also, A.K. Kamara, RNC committeeman, and Max Reimer, your representative. He should be here in about 20 minutes from now. Got a lot of fun items in the stack today. This is one of those Friday mornings that we have some relevant things to talk about, some news that broke overnight that we'll dive into in this first hour. But I grabbed some fun stuff for conversation today. We're going to get into some Gen Z terminology a little bit later on this morning. Yeah. Well, I didn't realize this, but apparently
it's gonna be lit.
Exactly. I have a list, and they're items that Gen Z has co-opted, but they've changed the meaning from when individuals like myself who are not Gen Z used to use them.
Yeah,
so
we made them cool.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Well, in some ways I speak to like as if Isaac is representing. In this case, he's representing all of Gen Z right now. So, in some cases, Gen Z has taken some rather what's the word I want to use? Inappropriate terminology. We'll put it that way, depending on your view. Some inappropriate terminology and made it a little more benign. So I don't even want to give away what it is on the list. I don't want to ruin for anybody. So that, along with a host of other issues, including Ilhan Omar's son got busted. Did you see this story?
I did. I was so hoping we would cover this.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get into it. Yeah, we'll talk about it probably in the 8 o'clock hour. Also, Center of the American Experiment. As I mentioned, the majority of the peeps here, my fellow colleagues, pinkies up, were in Florida for an event and won an award.
We did.
It's pretty awesome. So we have some audio of Center of the American Experiment going and accepting that award. So looking forward to sharing that with you. Also, a bit of a programming note. We had some difficulties attaching the feed this morning to @MN Think Tank. So if you're on X and you want to watch, it's actually on my feed this morning. So head on over to @JON John Justice, and you can watch live on X, of course, Facebook and YouTube as well. Center of the American Experiment, and on the free MixLR app. I had somebody email me yesterday, and I think I know what's happening, but just to clear it up, because we asked the question, how, because we've had this week a handful of individuals who just recently found the show, even though we've been on for a month, and that's totally fine. I was gone. I was kind of off of being able to talk to everybody from doing the show for about a month. So it takes a while for people to come and catch up. So we were asking, just how did you find out about the show? Because we're looking at doing some advertising and promoting the show. And somebody made a comment about they tried the MixLR app, but it kept wanting to charge them. And the MixLR app is completely free. The only thing that I believe you would end up having to pay for is if you were to want to follow me on there, I think you need to go and sign up. But otherwise, the app is completely free to listen to the show on. And we actually use it every morning as we go and launch the show every day. We double check the feed to make sure that it's connected. So just want to let everybody know that the best way to just listen to the audio is through the MixLR app. You can email at any point throughout the show, john.justice@americanexperiment.org. And of course, we have our blaster line, 612-584-4565. A lot of comments have already rolled in on a Freedom Friday. And Freedom Friday means we do take your on and off topic comments all morning long as we work through the news of the day. So let's go ahead and start here on the blaster line this morning. It's the John Justice Show presented by American Experiment. And I'm glad you're with us today.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and happy Freedom Friday. It's Lorenzo from Lakeville. Hey, quick question. When racist Rose decided to go and pick out her voice modulator, does anybody know why she picked out the Billy Bob Thornton from Sling Blade voice? You know, because it sounds a lot like, "Hey there, Johnny Justice. It's Eric from Brainerd. I'm just calling to say why I'm so messed up. It's because I ain't got no brains in it. I'll see you at the Minnesota State Fair when I'll get myself some of them French fried corn pups." Have a good weekend, everybody.
I'd give that about a 4 on the Billy Bob Thornton Sling Blade voice. Speaking of Gen Z, does that have any merit to you at all, Producer Isaac?
Billy Bob Thornton?
Yeah, and Sling Blade. Yeah. Sling Blade.
Oh no,
that's what I thought. Boy, I know it's so weird. Mm-hmm. That generational gap. It's very odd for me, just because this is the first time in my. I guess it was inevitable that I would be a talk show host for as many, because it's been about 30 years now. So I guess it was inevitable that I would arrive here, that eventually I would be surrounded by commentators on the show and producers on the show that there'd be that much of an age gap that the references that I grew up with that were just commonplace are just completely lost.
Welcome to the future, old man.
One of Billy Bob Thornton's most memorable, actually, I think it's the role that put him on the map, was the role of a guy in a film called Sling Blade. And that talkback was kind of how he talked. It wasn't a great movie, by the way. It's not like a feel good family film by any stretch of the imagination, but still a very good film. To his question, I have no idea why the pickleball coach chose that voice disguiser. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know why they listen every single day if they don't like everything that I say. And in terms of them coming to the Minnesota State Fair, the foes of the show are way too cowardly to come up and actually go and talk to me. So I know that from experience. All right, let's go to another friend of the show, Debbie, and see what she has to say this morning on Freedom Friday.
Hi, John. This is Debbie. I'm looking forward to a Freedom Friday. Also, I want to say thank you for all the hard work you put into the shows, and thank you for all the good shows that you make. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Yeah, I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, and we're looking to expand in the future as well. We've got a lot of big plans. This whole endeavor of launching this live show here on American Experiment really happened on a sort of a truncated timeline. And since then, we are constantly talking about how we're going to improve and expand the show, and again, also improve just on the way that we distribute the show as well. So there's a lot to coming in the future that I'm really, really excited about. But we certainly appreciate all the support that the show has received since its launch now. Wow, it's been 1 month. It was the 27th was our first show. So happy 1 month anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Hey, John. Brandon Cottage Grove. Uh-oh. Looks like Ilhan Omar's son got caught with some things he shouldn't have. I wonder, do you think charges will come? I'm guessing not. But maybe they should raid her house, too.
Yeah, Ilhan Omar's son is linked to an apartment raid where guns and ammo were seized. Police executed a search warrant on Tuesday night at the Minneapolis apartment, reportedly shared by Omar's adult son and a man arrested earlier that day on a weapons charge, according to multiple law enforcement sources. You know, you would think that the son of Representative Ilhan Omar would not be potentially running with the wrong crowd. You would think. So we'll get into that coming up later on in the show. Let's go and hear from a friend of the show, Gary, who I believe went to the fair on opening day and wants to share some of his thoughts on a Freedom Friday.
Good morning, John Justice. I was at the fair yesterday, and I was at the gate in the morning before it opened, and the only ones that I've seen out there for running for office was Amy Klobuchar and Lisa Dana. I was kind of disappointed not to see Michelle DeFoya or Peggy Flanagan. So they weren't there.
Well, they were. I'll get back to your comment in just a moment. I know that well, at least she was in front of the entrance to the Minnesota State Fair. I saw a photograph and a video of Peggy Flanagan yesterday out in front of the State Fair. She was wearing a hat that said, "Love me." Was it "Love me like I love the State Fair"?
Correct.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
We were on a group text with the Freedom Friday crew, which is essentially everybody here at American Experiment. I was wondering, was that a common phrase for fairgoers? Love me like I love. I'd never seen that before. It just seemed really awkward. But resident and biggest fair fan, Katherine Johnson, said that was not a typical phrase. Like, I don't think she had even heard of that before. Had you ever heard that before? Love me like I love the. What if you hate the fair? Well, I don't want to. I mean, I'm not saying I do. I'm just saying in general, you're kind of opening yourself up there by inviting someone to share their emotions with you with the same way they feel about the fair. What if you have a bad experience? You went in loving the fair, but you came out hating it, and now, well, Peggy Flanagan told me to hate her.
You went into the fair and you came out with $9 billion less.
That's right. What is that? It just was very odd. Very odd. She was very odd. The video was very odd. The selection cycle is very odd. Let's go and hear from friend of the show, Eric, on the Blaster line this morning.
Hey, John, Eric from Tennessee. Great show so far. I've been listening to Communism Kool-Aid. I got to admit.
Okay, that's not fair. He left that at 6 a.m. I hadn't even started yet. I appreciate the comments, Eric, but I mean, so you were enjoying the parody. That's what you were saying. No, I love Eric. I just want to give him a hard time on a Freedom Friday.
But now that I'm hearing it at the start of the show, or at least before the show, it's kind of reminding me of Lovely Day. So
he's talking about Communism Kool-Aid that we play of the parodies before the show starts, by the way. I kind of stepped on him.
It's growing on me a bit.
Oh, was that it? Oh, that was it. Yeah, I like Communism Kool-Aid. I'm going to redo that. When I created that particular parody, my wife Melinda had inspired me. She put together a Post-it note of, she had Socialism Milkshake at one point, I think, was one of the titles that she was suggesting. Communism Kool-Aid was certainly one of them. So I put in a prompt to the AI app to create the parody, not realizing that you can actually write your own lyrics, which is how I went about turning all of my Dark Years poetry into a bunch of new wave pop songs. Actually made a whole album's worth because I'm just that kind of nerd. But now I know that you can actually write lyrics. So I'm gonna do an update on Communism Kool-Aid at some point in time to have it be a little bit more reflective of the stories that we're talking about, rather than having the AI overlords go and make that parody. But it's a bit of a jam. I do like Communism Kool-Aid. It gets in your. That's the one thing about AI generated songs. They're very, very hooky. Like, they get into your head. They're like the earworms. Like AI, the AI overlords create like the best earworms. It really is incredible. So thank you to everybody who's already left comments on a Freedom Friday. John.Justice at AmericanExperiment.org. Again, 612-584-4565. And for those that are on X this morning, or maybe you're listening somewhere else and you usually watch on X, the live feed is on my feed this morning at JON, at John Justice. We had trouble connecting to the at MN Think Tank feed. All right, let's dive into this. The ICE agent, Christian Castro, The individual who Thief Ellison and Scary Moriarty were desperately trying to politicize by attempting to force Texas Governor Greg Abbott to send him back to Minnesota and extradite him. He has been suspended without pay on the allegations of a shooting that involved a Venezuelan immigrant and lying under oath during Operation Metro Surge. Now, he was released from the Texas jail after reaching the 90-day limit for extradition. He does still face potential federal charges and disciplinary action. So a senior official with DHS shared in a statement with Fox 9, the officer in question, Castro, has been suspended without pay during the ongoing investigation. Lying under oath is a serious federal offense. The U.S. Attorney's Office is actively investigating these statements. Upon conclusion of the investigation, the officers may face disciplinary action, including termination of employment, as well as potential criminal prosecution. They basically couldn't keep him locked up anymore. He was in there for 3 months, and he had served that time, and now they had to go and release him. The men and listen, Greg Abbott was absolutely correct in not sending him back here to Minnesota. This was pure political grandstanding. It was nothing but a means to try to continue to perpetuate the Operation Metro Surge narrative and to give something for Thief Ellison to run on as he talks about being, the people's attorneys general. The men and women of ICE, they went on to say, are entrusted with upholding the law and are held to the highest standards of professionalism, integrity, ethical conduct. Violations of this sacred oath will not be tolerated. So he was released from custody about 7 a.m. Yesterday, due to be released, as I mentioned, because he reached the 90-day limit under Texas law that limits how long people can be held while waiting for extradition. So that's what was going on. On Wednesday, a judge had denied a petition for the temporary restraining order by Minnesota Attorney General Thief Ellison to keep Castro jailed as they fight to Texas Governor Greg Abbott over ICE's agents' extradition. And a lot of commentary has been said, and I agree. Bill Glahn put up a post yesterday, and that's what sparked this comment to you. But maybe, maybe Thief Ellison isn't very good at law. Just... perhaps he's not really good at doing this attorney's lawyer stuff. Maybe he ain't that great at it. Perhaps doesn't have really good fashion sense either. That hat he's been wearing is really stupid. Ooh. I'm not one, and I try not to go to the superficial. I really, really do. I try to keep it to you do something dumb and I'm going to call you dumb. Thief Ellison, though, he's on a different level. He reaches that socket wrench tool status. And so I do not have a hard time giving him a hard time for his stupid little hat. And the fact that he's a really little dude. Like he's super. I think he's trying to overcompensate. He's a very small guy. Tiny guy. Like if he were here, if he were like standing here, he'd be like this high. If you're watching on the show, he'd be like right here. He'd be like a little Oompa Loompa. Right here. 612-584-4565. If you want to leave I told you I was in a mood today. Speaking of ICE, got this from The Guardian. Plans to supply immigrations and customs enforcement officers with special gloves that can deliver electric shocks have alarmed experts and drawn scrutiny amid some high-profile lawsuits over their use in correctional facilities. The lawsuits, and we talked about this earlier in the week, it might have even been last week when the story first came up, the individuals that have been hurt, beyond just being shocked, right? The individuals that have actually suffered injury, they were like shocked like 27 times. So I'm pretty sure that the general use of the shock gloves is going to be completely fine when it comes to immigrations and customs enforcement. Like for actually the first paragraph mentions this. In one extreme case, a 43-year-old man died. That's horrible. But he was shocked 40 times by the officers in combination of the gloves and a taser in a county jail in Kentucky. The man's widow is suing authorities. I'm assuming they couldn't bring this dude down, so they basically electrocuted him. So the trade-off here? So do you want shock gloves or do you want guns? Which one would you guys prefer on this? Civil rights advocates protest that the federal agency's use of force during Donald Trump's immigration crackdowns already lacks proper oversight. ICE is putting these gloves in the hands of an agency that has dropped its hiring standards, its training, its background requirements, and its hiring spree. This is according to the Deputy Director of Government Affairs in the Equality Division of the ACLU. I expect nothing less than comments like this coming from individuals inside the ACLU. And doing my research earlier this week, specifically into the training of ICE agents as they've, entered back into the news cycle. Yes, there were standards that were dropped in terms of the training for the new recruits that came into ICE after President Donald Trump was elected to his second term. First off, over half of the agents that are serving within Immigrations and Customs Enforcement were already serving in the Biden administration and have stayed in ICE since Trump took office. The remainder of the new hires, they did go through a streamlined process, but the way in which they pulled back on some of the training, it was all items not related to enforcement measures. It was things like learning, another language, things that took a long period of time that did not have anything specific to do with regard to use of force training and those items. It doesn't matter. You're not going to get that context on the left, but that's the reality because they needed to get more ICE agents. And this wouldn't have even been necessary if it hadn't been for the fact that former President Joe Biden let in those, millions upon millions of illegal aliens. They went on to say, we are already seeing the consequences of that in lawless, violent enforcement actions on our streets. Okay. What's really terrifying is the use of them on the streets, potentially to terrify people, to create a chilling effect. That's good. That's a good thing. You want to create a chilling effect when you're going and enforcing the law to keep the bad guys from doing their bad things. So if the bad guys are aware that, ICE agents have gloves that can shock me, and it may not feel so good, then perhaps, maybe, I shouldn't do my criminal activity, or I should stay out of their way and not get into an altercation as they go to do their lawful law enforcement efforts. This member of the ACLU further said of the gloves, there are no circumstances where we think their use is appropriate. There's none. No circumstances. Can you use them? I wonder if you can use them if you needed to like shock somebody back to life. Instead of the paddles, the clear. You can use the gloves like that. I imagine. Listen, you know what? You know what the bigger fear of the ICE gloves is, Isaac. The bigger fear is like making a mistake among your fellow ICE agents.
Yeah, you go to dap someone up.
Yes. Seriously, right?
Shock.
Yeah. Just a high five. I wonder what happens if you have two gloves that are coming together from two different people. Like in the Star Wars movies, if you have two dudes or ladies, whatever, using the Force, right? Well, because Iron Man did it too. Iron Man and Iron Patriot, same thing. That power just kind of creates this pocket of power that eventually cannot be sustained and explodes. I wonder if the same thing happens with the shock gloves. Don't wash your hands with the shock gloves either. No, that would be bad. Yeah, I think the danger is actually I think the biggest danger is to the ICE agents themselves making a mistake than it is to anybody in the general public. But curious to get your thoughts at 612-584-4565. Friend of the show, Scott, has left us a blast on this particular topic as we once again guess whether or not he is amped up today or not in terms of his enthusiasm on the Scott Con level. Isaac, what do you think? Scott Con level 5 being the most excited, 1 being the least. What's the subject? He's talking about the taser, the taser gloves. 2. You're going with the 2? All right. Yeah, I'm going to go 3.5. I'm going to allow for a 3.5. Let's see where he lands on Scott Con.
Good Friday morning, John. As somebody who went to a Citizens Police Academy and was the only person in the academy that year to volunteer to be tasered, I will tell you that if you are being tasered multiple times and it is not stopping you from going after the police, I think they should take a freaking sledgehammer and hit him over the head. So I'm all for these gloves. And like you said, Would you rather you have us use a gun? Oh, heck no. They would rather just have the criminal do something harmful to the police officers. What a bunch of boo-boos.
There's your podcast title. What a bunch of boo-boos.
I like that.
Now, I'm going to split the difference and just say 3. He was kind of, he wasn't too amped up this morning. He was kind of right there for Scott, right? You have to take into account this is Scott, and he often gets fired up. Let's go here.
Happy Freedom Friday, John. Say this poor soul that died as a result of being touched by these gloves. Have they released the toxicology report yet? Because it sounds awful.
Yeah, again, when you go through the story here, the device carries the brand name Glove, GLOVE, obviously, which stands for Generated Low Output Voltage Emitter. It's manufactured by Compliant Technologies, a company owned by military veterans and based in Lexington, Kentucky. In one demonstration video, a man gives a brief light touch for approximately 1 second to the lower back of a prone volunteer who jerks his body and then cries out, "Oh, F word." I mean, he said the actual word, and even though we're streaming, I try not to engage in profanity. So, yeah. I guess the point here is that it kind of stunned him. Compliant Technologies has posted multiple video demonstrations on its Instagram page. In one video, a woman wearing the glove grips firmly on the exposed forearm of a volunteer man for about 2 seconds. The man buckles to the ground shouting expletives and says, "Let me go." It sounds like these gloves give you Tourette's.
This is what I voted for.
These sound like Tourette's gloves. It causes everybody to curse. Sorry.
I absolutely voted for this. This is amazing.
Tourette's gloves. Not to go, and that's although people that suffer from Tourette's have really come a long way as of late. There's a whole
TV show.
Yeah. I forgot what the woman's name is.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I don't remember. But we were watching because we wipe out on Discovery.
Balin Out Loud. Bailey? Something like that.
Let's go with Bailey.
Yeah.
We watch a lot of, I shouldn't say we watch a lot. We watch some home improvement shows. America's Ugliest Home or Ugliest Home in America is one that we wipe out on quite a bit that we enjoy with Rita from Parks and Rec. But they would promo, because we don't pay for the fancy schmancy commercial free version. They would run the promos for the girl with Tourette's she was viral on social media long before she ended up getting the show. She got married.
Yeah.
You see that? She got married. Yeah, standing here at the altar.
I watched a couple episodes of that.
Sputtering expletives to her soon-to-be husband with cinnamon involved in those expletives. What a weird scenario. So you watch some of those episodes?
I've seen a couple of those.
Yeah. Any interesting takeaways? Yeah.
It's kind of funny for the first couple episodes, and it's like...
Yeah, I would think that it would get old after a while. It's like, okay. You know that she's... It's hard, though, when you watch it, because it is involuntary, her, muttering all of this profanity, but it's just so out of the norm that you can't help but go, is she really? Does she cannot control this? It's just crazy. Like, I'm one to talk. A lot of things I can't control on this show either, so... All right, 612-584-4565, 612-584-4565. Coming up, RNC Committeeman A.K. Kamara. He should be in studio right around 7 o'clock. Also, Katherine Johnson and Grace Keating. We expect them to arrive. Also, right around 7 o'clock. And Representative Max Reimer should be here at any moment. Coming up, a news outlet tells staff, this is out of Canada, not to call 9/11 a terrorist attack. In the meantime, the Postal Service is pushing ahead on Trump's order to limit vote by mail. And Trump did. He did something. I didn't think he was going to do it. I thought he was just trolling, but he did. He signs an order. Trump has signed an order renaming Lake Ontario as Lake America in the United States. Now, Trump cannot force Canada to follow his preferred naming convention, but apparently he does have this particular power. So we're going to give you details, and we'll get to more of your thoughts on a Freedom Friday. Again, you're on and off topic comments all morning long at 612-584-4565. That's 612-584-4565. And remember, if you have any difficulty sleeping, or maybe you're looking at an alternative to your weekend alcoholic beverages, you just want to relax, or you're dealing with some pain, you can find solutions and answers to all of those issues if you just head on over to minileaf.com, MINNELEAF.com. I speak highly of the gummies, but I take them every night. These are the night gummies. They get me a great night's sleep. And this morning, exactly the same. Went to bed last night, a little bit later than usual, heading into a Freedom Friday, but I was out like a light after taking one gummy. Got up a couple times in the evening, but as soon as I hit the sheets, I'm back to sleep and slept right to the alarm. And that didn't happen for me for years upon years until I found the night gummies. They're just an absolutely fantastic solution to getting a good night's sleep. Made with all natural ingredients. And as I've mentioned, I've talked with my cardiologist about them, perfectly fine and healthy for me to take. So head on over to minileaf.com. Remember, they keep it local. Eric and his wife, Lacey, they want you to live a better life through their products. Certainly that's the case for me. They package the Mini Leaf products as they're sent out locally, and the Spooky Mini Leaf tonics. They're brewed right here in Eden Prairie. So taste happy at MINNELEAF.com. That's minileaf.com.
Think about it. Now that school's back in session, how are Minnesota students doing? Not very well. Minnesota ACT scores fell again last year and are the lowest they've been in 10 years. In fact, fewer than half of Minnesota students can either read or do math at grade level. Think about it. We used to brag about our schools. Now we're losing to states like Mississippi. Visit AmericanExperiment.org for more information. Think About It is brought to you by Center of the American Experiment, Minnesota's think tank.
And now, here's commentary on the latest issues facing Minnesotans from the hosts, policy fellows, and guests of American Experiment.
Josiah Padley here at American Experiment just found that there are 11 schools in Minnesota that have 0 students doing math at grade level. Now, you might be wondering, is it just because these are, maybe underprivileged schools? They don't have the funding or the resources necessary to support these kids? No is the answer, because their average per pupil spending was $19,600, nearly $20,000 per student, which is also much higher than the state.
Support the John Justice Show. Become an advertiser. Competitive rates for both personal endorsements and standard ads are available. For more details, email john.justice@americanexperiment.org.
There's 3 things to note here on this story. Number 1, these findings came straight from data from the Minnesota Department of Education. Number 2, the 11 schools include traditional public, magnet, and charter schools. And number 3, grade level mathematics proficiency is measured by the Minnesota Comprehensive Assessment, the MCAs. I'm sure you've heard us talk about them before on this show, and they are taken by a majority of Minnesota students. Worth noting that almost every school on this list of 11 is in the Twin Cities metro area. 5 of the 11 schools have had 0 students proficient in math for at least 2 years in a row.
Think about it. Black and Hispanic students in Mississippi perform better in reading and math than Black and Hispanic students in Minnesota. And Mississippi spends thousands of dollars less per student than Minnesota. Mississippi spends less money, gets better results, and their achievement gaps are closing, while ours are getting worse. Think about it. It's time for real education reform, so Minnesota can catch up to Mississippi. Think About It is brought to you by Center of the American Experiment, Minnesota's think tank.
People of all ages are leaving Minnesota for other states.
Yeah, and that pushes back on that narrative that it's just, retirees that are leaving Minnesota because it's too cold here, when what we see are people in every single age category are leaving, even under 26-year-olds, even people in their middle age. It's not just the weather that's driving people out of our state, it's the bad policies.
Think about it. Minnesota has always been a low-crime state. But according to the most recent Bureau of Criminal Apprehension data, we are now above the national average when it comes to Part 1 crimes, a category that includes crimes like murder, assault, rape, and carjackings. Think about it. Minnesota is now a high-crime state. Visit highcrimemn.com to learn more. Think About It is brought to you by Center of the American Experiment, Minnesota's think tank.
It's the John Justice Show presented by American Experiment. And congratulations to American Experiment. Picked up an award earlier this week that we'll talk about once we get the rest of our Freedom Friday crew in. But I'll just tell you real quick. And like I said, we'll talk about this further because Grace and Catherine were actually at this event. But Center of the American Experiment won the 2026 Bob Williams Award for Securing Durable Freedom from the State Policy Network. It was announced this week at the SPN annual meeting in Orlando, Florida, recognizing American Experiment's work with exposing and documenting Minnesota's fraud problem. And as you'll hear in the acceptance speech from John Hinderrocker of the award, it really was Bill Glahn. Bill Glahn was the individual who has been at the forefront of fraud coverage here at Center of the American Experiment. So congratulations to American Experiment. I kind of feel like we're congratulating ourselves, but I had nothing to do with any of that. So, but pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. We'll talk about it a little bit later on and share that audio coming up later. Are you bummed you didn't go now? No. Okay. You sure about that? Yeah. Okay. Hey, there's a Max Reimer in studio here on a Freedom Friday. Good morning, Max.
Good morning.
How we doing?
I'll congratulate you. If you need an outside person to say congratulations,
we'll take it. We'll take it.
I'm not looking for any accolades. I didn't have anything to do with that.
It is a big deal. I was told that fraud wasn't a real thing in Minnesota.
Yeah,
so
it's a big.
Nice to know some journalistic outlet is being rewarded for the coverage.
What are your fair plans? Have you been to the fair yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Are you? So let me back up here further. If you weren't in office, like how often would you be going to the fair?
If I lived closer to the fair, like I used to, just about every day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'd be a big fan. I love the fair.
What are you doing at the fair every day?
Well, I like to people watch. I like to visit the different food stops. You can't go to all the places you want to eat at all in one day.
Yeah.
I'd be going a lot. Maybe not every day, but if I lived closer to the metro and I didn't have kids, I didn't have other obligations, I'd be going quite often.
We had a couple of comments that rolled into the blaster line. Don't know if you heard the conversation we were having about the shot gloves that ICE is using.
I did hear a bit of
okay,
it.
yeah. So the ACLU is all upset about this. I got a comment here from friend of the show, Alex, wants to weigh in on that.
Very simple. Police flags aren't expendable. It's not their job to risk great bodily harm so you can safely resist arrest.
Yeah, listen, with these shot gloves, I mean, it's not like there's not a need for them. I mean, thankfully, we haven't seen the on-the-street altercations as the ICE operations continue around the country like we did at the height of Operation Metro Surge, but it's not politically expedient, as we've been talking about on the show, for the left to encourage individuals to go out and do these protests. But, I mean, these shot gloves could do a lot in keeping the public at bay in the middle of these circumstances where you do have the public heading out en masse to block the efforts of ICE officers. So any added enforcement via technology is always going to get complaints from organizations like the ACLU.
Yeah, and I think what you have to keep in mind is you either have stuff like the shot gloves versus maybe a potential deadly weapon being used for crowd control. So when I first heard about these gloves being used, it seems a little sci-fi. It seems like maybe it's not necessary, but I'm sure they have looked at the situations that these ICE officers get put into and have justified that these shot gloves are actually a practical application for their job.
Let's go back to the blaster line, 612-584-4565 here on the John Justice Show on a Freedom Friday.
Good morning, John. Happy Freedom Friday. So these shot gloves or whether the taser, if you get tased that many times and shocked that many times, you've got something on board that is preventing that from happening. And if you're fighting with law enforcement like that, your hearts can explode. If you're on that much meth or that much drugs, your heart is going to explode. Nothing to do with the electronic devices. And the other thing that you were talking about, lying under oath, we have never seen that in front of Congress. We've never seen anybody lie under oath on the left. Have we?
Touche.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have. Happy Freedom Friday. Have a good weekend.
Listen, there is no justification for anybody lying under oath. But as I've mentioned, when it comes to this ICE officer, this ICE agent involved in the shooting here, it is ridiculous the level of attention that Keith Ellison and Scary Moriarty have been giving it. This was all a political stunt to try to extradite him from Texas. The investigation is ongoing. They couldn't hold him any longer based off of the letter of the law. The dude wants to leave the country with a woman to Mexico.
Sounds like he wants to go to Mexico.
Yeah, it just, I mean, so he served 90 days in jail. If the conclusion is, if the verdict is, and however this investigation moves forward, that he lied, he does need to be held accountable. But that being said, he lost his job with ICE. He's already been in jail for 3 months, and he wants to basically deport himself, even though he's a legal citizen. So I kind of feel like the situation has remedied itself.
ICE officer going back to Mexico.
Yeah, I kind of
what a time.
I kind of feel like, you know, and again, this is when you compare it to the length of time that criminals here in Minnesota typically stay behind bars. This guy has already served a sentence much longer.
90 days is a lifetime for Minnesota fraudsters.
And well, look at the guy that went and vandalized the Tesla, for crying out loud. There was no disputing that. He actually got a pay raise and a different gig. Yeah, whatever.
You're right, though. Keith Ellison does need things to run on. And so you'll see this be used as an example of the way that he took on the Trump administration, because he can't run on his own record. His record's awful. So what he needs to do is he needs to create a bunch of boogeymen, and that's what his entire campaign is going to be about, as it has been the last 2 times he's run.
I would love to see the Max. I would love to see the internal polling for the AG's race, because I know that the polling that's been released shows it's all tied up. I usually go, if it's all tied up, then more than likely Ron Schutz has a bit of a lead, because I'm not putting a lot of stock in these. But the fact that it's tied up at all in the polling speaks volumes as to how competitive that race is, and more specifically, how vulnerable Keith Ellison is.
Yeah, I think when you look at the public polling, what we have to go off of is Keith Ellison's ceiling is 44-45%, because Ron Schutz is a guy who's going to build his name ID over the course of the next couple of months. But that 44% represents Keith Ellison's ceiling. Everyone knows who Keith Ellison is, and nobody likes the guy.
Yeah. Let's go here to the blaster line at 612-584-4565 on a Freedom Friday. We'll hear from another friend of the show talking about Trump and renaming of the lake.
Man, I am so disappointed. I thought it was a troll, but you're saying Trump actually did sign the order with Lake America? And I'm disappointed in the Don. I mean, America at least deserves the best lake, and that would be Lake Superior. So apparently he doesn't think America deserves the best, so we're going to be second rate.
See,
I that's just disappointing.
When I saw the initial comment, I thought they were just upset that Trump had renamed it, but now I understand his point more. He just is upset that
was a good one.
That particular lake. Can you imagine if he had attempted to go and rename Lake Superior, Lake America?
Because he's right. The blaster is right. Who cares about Lake Ontario? I never think about that lake.
Yeah.
Lake Superior is the Superior Lake.
So let me play the audio. So this was, first off, I have Trump from yesterday talking about making it official, signing the order to rename Lake Ontario.
We'll be changing the name of Lake Ontario, effective immediately, to Lake America. That's going to take place right now as I sign the order. We have a Gulf and we have a lake. Now all we need is an ocean.
He wants the trifecta. This is a little promo the White House had put out yesterday in response to this. He wants the trifecta. Now he wants an ocean. Which ocean do we rename?
I saw a meme that
America Ocean?
The American Ocean. I saw a meme that was hilarious, where it was like Trump is signing an executive order to rename the entire world, and it's like the USA is America, Canada is North America, South America is South America, and then like Europe and beyond was East America, and Russia and beyond was West America. It was like, brilliant. Don't tempt this. Don't tempt him.
Listen, if it's in my view on this, by the way, because I thought he was trolling. I didn't think he was actually gonna do it, but he did yesterday. So my take on this is that if the POTUS has the power to rename these geographical locations, which he does, then why not? If you don't like it, I'm not saying Max, I'm just saying, or anybody listening to the show or watching the show. If you don't like it, then, contact your congressman or woman and tell them that you wanted to take that power away from the president. But if the president has the power to go and rename this stuff, I don't really have much of an issue with it.
Yeah, the reason I don't put much stock into it, frankly, is because these will all be things that, God forbid, a Democrat get back into the presidency. All this stuff is being undone anyway. It's like we get this 4 years of fun, and that lake is going back to Ontario.
No, it'll go to like Lake DSA.
Yeah.
Lake Democrat Socialist, Commie Lake.
Yeah.
That's what it'll end up turning into.
That's what it'll be.
So last night, this was Al Michaels preseason football yesterday. The Browns versus New England. I have no idea. Anybody know who won? Anybody care?
I don't
For
think
preseason football?
Anybody care about preseason football?
Al Michaels is a huge liberal, though.
Nobody. Yeah. Oh, he was not happy. He was not happy about the renaming of the lake. This is what he had to say during the broadcast last night on Amazon.
Erie. We think it is still called Lake Erie on the right. We're not quite sure at this point.
Yeah.
But we will be by Lake, something like Ontario or whatever it's going to be called by the time we get to Buffalo. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Some of you do.
Some of us do.
Yeah, right. Read the news. Hassan Haskell.
He's in the middle of a game. And look, and I will say, he's in the middle of a preseason game, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, you got to find stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I'm not gonna begrudge him too much on that, but it's pretty funny that he simply couldn't let it go.
Speaking of the NFL, I don't know if you guys covered this story earlier in the week, but the Washington Redskins or the Washington Commanders, in order to keep their trademark, they need to commercially sell some products with the Washington Redskins logo in order to hang on to it.
Okay.
So they released some merchandise with the old Washington Redskins logo on it to keep, again, the trademark active. They want to kill it, but they don't want other people to be able to use it. Apparently that merchandise sold out within like 10 hours
or
8 hours. Just completely sold out of all of their revamped Washington Redskins material.
Do we know what the items were?
I'll have to look it up at our break, but yeah, just hilarious and predictable. And of course, all the liberal sports journalists were just outraged that people would go and buy this merchandise. But yeah, Washington Redskins brought back their logo to keep it active and sold out of everything within hours.
I have so many jokes of the items that they could have placed that logo on that I am just not even going to say.
Okay.
I've got so many ideas of what they could have put that logo on. That's incredible. That's incredible.
Amazing story.
And by the way, that whole thing has always driven me nuts. The argument on down the line from the Aunt Jemima to the Lando Lakes and I always said that if the Washington Redskins issue went the way of those looking to take advantage of the controversy, right? Because that's what this is. This is not this massive outcry coming from the Native American community. These are all, you don't name these particular products and these sport teams because you hate the naming convention. You're not doing it to disparage them. You're doing it to pay homage or to honor or to look at history. And yet the left has gone and twisted it into this, it's not politically correct, from a bunch of people that aren't even aligned with whatever the controversy is. So I always said that if the Washington Redskins were to fall, that you would see the dominoes fall. It actually happened in reverse. I think you saw all the other ones, like the Lando Lakes and the Aunt Jemima one. Those ones fell first, and it was kind of the Redskins that ended up happening last.
Well, the Redskins, it was like a 30-year-long process that finally they acquiesced during. That must have happened in 2020 or therein, because that was when Woke 1.0 was reaching a fever pitch in 2020 and 2021. But what I will just say is that it's an indicator that normal people still want their country back, okay? Because when the Redskins were the Redskins, nobody thought twice about it, to your point, John. It was an aspirational thing. When you have a naming convention or a mascot, when somebody represents a fearsome nature or it's something to be admired, that's what the Redskins were.
Yeah.
No matter where the name came from, that's what it became. And for this merchandise, you guys can go look up the story, but the merchandise sold out within hours, which just, again, indicates to me normal people just still want a country they can recognize
on a long enough timeline. Like if either of my boys, and I'm not encouraging either of them to do this, by the way, but if either of my boys decided to say get into talk radio, or to being a talk host, I can envision on a long enough timeline where they would be doing a show and talking about how the left is making it a thing that minority groups are not represented on everyday products and sports teams. That's just that is the inevitable outcome, is that you go and you do all this political correct, all this woke washing of any minority groups from any products or sports teams, and just wait. When it suddenly becomes advantageous for the left to go and spin it the other way, they absolutely will. And we've seen this happen with other circumstances before.
It's been said before, too. I mean, if we're talking about racial caricatures and that's what we're concerned about, well, guess what? Our Minnesota sports team has a pretty significant racial caricature.
Yeah.
The Fighting Irish, where you got the little Irish man with his dukes up. I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say Vikings there for just a moment. I thought that.
No. I am saying the Vikings.
Oh, okay.
Those were two different.
Gotcha.
Two different comparisons.
Gotcha. All right, let's go here to the blaster line this morning at 612-584-4565. Question for you, Max.
John, I've got a question for Max this morning. A couple of weeks ago, he has a picture when he was in the car with an Cantor. Is that real? Is that AI? What is his connections? Would love to know. Thanks.
Great question. Yeah. So back when I was helping run the governor campaign in 2022 with Scott Jensen, Matt Burke, Enes Kanter, Enes Freedom came to Minnesota to come and speak on their behalf in Minnesota. We did a speaking tour and I got to chauffeur Enes Kanter Freedom, your newest WNBA star, apparently, around the Twin Cities. And I actually had to borrow a friend's car because I did not have a car that could accommodate him. That's real. Yeah.
Did you have a conversation with Enes?
He wasn't a big talker.
Not a chatty guy. Was that the most famous person you've ever driven around?
I have to think about that. Maybe. Yeah. Driven around for sure. Had a conversation with. Probably not. Oh, good for me. But he at the time he was battling both the Turkish government and China. Like he made those two things his big political fights. It's what kind of got him in the arena politically. So we talked a little bit about that. And Enes at the time really discussed with me the fact that he couldn't go back home, that he basically had family in jail for taking a stance against his home country's government. And he couldn't go back home. He could never go back home. And that's a lot of what we talked about, but not a big talker.
I'm trying to think of who. So I'm trying to think of who was the most famous person I ever drove. So I know. So the first thing that pops into my head, which again is going to be completely lost on the Gen Zer to my right. But I think Max, you'll know. I drove the band Fuel in my car once.
Great band.
Yeah. Hemorrhage in my hands.
So far away.
Yeah, there you go.
Leave life leading.
Yeah, good stuff.
Love that band.
I drove those guys in my 94 four-door white Honda Civic to the venue when I was working for a rock station. I want to say that I drove John McCain someplace at one point. I do want to say that I had him in the car and we ended up driving from the radio station to an event or from the event to the radio station. I'm not 100% sure on that. I was pretty tight with John McCain though. He came on the show all the time.
Didn't you like piss him off one time or he was
No,
I'm thinking of the other Arizona politician who was conservative, turned moderate. You've told the story.
Rodney Glassman, who I drove out of Southern Arizona. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, he kept switching. He did it again, by the way. So he started as a Republican. His dad owned an ice rink in Tucson that failed, which you would think would be really successful.
Wow,
ice rink in Tucson, you would think, because it's stupid hot there, but it wasn't. It failed. He ran as a Democrat for the longest time. Actually ran as a Democrat against John McCain one year and lost.
Yes.
And then at one point he left and went to Phoenix. And I'm not even kidding you. He went on another radio station and partly blamed me.
See, this is what I'm talking
for him
about.
Being driven out of Arizona. And then I think now he's running for Arizona Attorney General as a Republican again.
Why not?
Yeah, he just his political finger. He just is.
Imagine being so desperate, like so desperate to stay in power, to stay in politics. Like I was thinking about Charlie Crist. Okay, so that guy in Florida, right, where he was like the top dog for a while. I don't know if he was governor or U.S. senator, but I was looking at his political trajectory. This may have even been a guy who tried to run for president. Charlie Crist, I believe is his name, in Arizona.
Sucks.
Okay, you know who I'm talking about, right? So if you look, he like ran in a competitive statewide election, worked his way down, lost to Ron DeSantis in 2020 by 20 points, it was 2022, lost by 20 points. And now he's running, he's like shrunk down to the point where he's running for like a local mayor election. It's like
such a loser.
Why?
Professional loser.
Why be in politics?
Well, look at Minnesota DFL and Nicole Mitchell. She's now running for what? Plymouth City Council now after
Woodbury.
Woodbury City Council. So
it's like you don't need to be in politics forever. No. Like go discover another talent. Take up painting and do something else. You don't need to be in. That's certainly my philosophy. Hey,
take up painting. Is that your philosophy?
Maybe. But hey, if one day I don't get reelected, then guess what? I'm not going to go like try to hunt for other offices to run for. I will become a pro wrestler.
Well, I can't believe it, but we're already into hour 2 here on the John Justice Show. And it is the second hour on a Friday, a Freedom Friday here on the John Justice Show. Remember, a little programming note. If you're watching on X this morning, you have to go to my feed. We were having some difficulty connecting this morning to @MN Think Tank. So head on over to JON Justice @JON Justice on X. If you want to watch there, of course, Facebook and YouTube as well at Center of the American Experiment. And the best way to listen to the show through you're just doing your morning routine is on the MixLR app. It's completely free. I believe that if you want to follow, you have to sign up, but otherwise it's completely free to listen. And we post the podcasts after the show is over right there in the MixLR app. And those are also available across all the major podcast platforms. And when the show is over, we post the video if you want to catch up and watch across Facebook and YouTube and also Rumble as well. Because it is a Freedom Friday, it's your on and off topic comments all morning long as our guests arrive and get settled in. Let's go and hear from another friend of the show on a Freedom Friday.
Hi, I am wondering if you, John, or Max have seen Coyote versus Acme. It was in the theaters, at least as of last weekend, it was in the theater. I thought it was a really good movie. As we all know, Coyote was harmed by Acme products. The catapults blew up. The special skates that was supposed to make him go really fast exploded. So he has been harmed, and he finds a lawyer, Wile E. Coyote does, and he brings Acme to court. It's a really good movie, and I'm wondering if you guys have seen it. Thank you.
I have not seen it yet, but Raquel is a very big fan because she also emailed me asking me that question as well. No, I have not seen it. I did go to the movies yesterday, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. Representative Max Reimer, have you seen the new Coyote versus Acme movie?
I have not yet.
Okay.
However, this is one of those movies, as I saw the previews, that I'm going to try to get my 2 oldest boys to before school starts.
Okay.
It looks, the whole concept of Coyote being wronged and then hiring an attorney to sue Acme, that sounds like some straight up 1980s on cocaine in the Hollywood mansion 100%. Idea that finally came to fruition.
100%.
And I'm here for it. But that's what it seems like to me. I think it's a classic American tale of hiring an attorney to sue a big company.
Well, my next question is, first off, to Isaac, and Grace Keating has joined us on a Freedom Friday. Isaac, to you, Coyote versus the Roadrunner. Is there any reference point at all?
Like, yeah, I know the Coyote versus the Roadrunner.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the old cartoon.
Right. Okay. So you are aware of
But I was not aware that he hired an attorney.
Grace Keating, back from your trip from Florida. First off, Coyote versus the Roadrunner. Are you familiar with the cartoon?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know there was a movie?
No. Extremely confused. So
hiring an attorney.
So in the cartoon, all the products that the Coyote uses when going after the Roadrunner end up failing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I get it. Funny. Yes.
Yeah, the concept is actually brilliant. So he hires a lawyer, and it's one of these mixed live action animation.
Like a Space Jam.
Yes,
100%.
exactly.
Okay, I was having a real
100%.
hard time. I was thinking, is this like a gritty, like live action version of Coyote? And these, okay,
That would be pretty awesome, though. No, it's a combination, just like you mentioned. No, it looks good. I want to go see it.
And I think Will Forte is
Uh-huh.
is his attorney,
Yeah.
and then
fun.
John Cena
Yep.
is the corporate attorney.
Yeah. I went and saw Kyle and Melinda and I went out and saw the Dog Stars yesterday. You guys familiar
I
with
heard it was
this
bad.
at all? Melinda did not like it. I enjoyed it, and Kyle enjoyed it.
Okay.
It was a bit of a slow burn. Basically, what you saw in the trailer was kind of the movie. It was a best-selling novel.
I hate movies like that. That is my biggest critique.
Yeah.
If I sit down and I watch a trailer and I leave the trailer saying I don't need to see the movie now, that's a problem.
I was thoroughly entertained. I wasn't waiting for it to end. It ended up being more of a love story than it was anything else. The only question I have about it, and then we can move on to more relevant items, was I don't know how I was kind of walked away going, how was this a best-selling novel? Because there wasn't a lot to it. And the only thing I can think of is they must have pared down some of the
Took out a
mythology
lot
and
of
stuff
it.
in it. Yeah, but
But it's like a post-apocalyptic.
yeah,
movie,
so
right?
a virus is swept across the planets, killed the majority of the population. So this young guy lost his wife, and it's just him and his dog, and Brolin living out in the middle of the Rockies, just trying to survive. But he's longing for more. He's like, there has to be more out there than just this life of survival. So he just happens to conveniently end up in a circumstance where his plane's not operating. He has to put it on the ground, and he ends up right next to Margaret Qualley and her dad, Guy Pearce. So, like, if you're gonna go and have your plane crash in the middle of the Rockies, and you're gonna end up meeting Margaret Qualley, it's not a bad deal.
Yeah, she's good looking.
Yeah, she's kind of fetching. So I enjoyed it.
That concept sounds like a movie that's been done 100 times, though.
Yeah, it wasn't. There wasn't any. They
Seems
weren't breaking any
like
new ground.
forgettable.
Yeah, no, yeah. It was like I said. Melinda didn't care for it. Kyle and I both enjoyed it. All right, let's go here as we wait the rest of our group to arrive in preparation for the 25th anniversary of 9/11. That is insane to me. So were either of you? So either of you were
you born?
I was alive.
I was also alive.
Okay,
I was born in
Barely.
99.
You were
I
barely
was
alive.
1 month alive.
I was 2 days away from turning 1.
Okay.
Oh my heavens.
That's crazy
I
to
am
me,
so
man.
old.
I know. Oh, you are? Because how
You
old were you?
boomers.
I was
Max?
in 6th grade.
Yeah. So I was doing a morning rock show in Riverside, San Bernardino at X103.9 when it happened. I've told the story a bunch, but that's just, I can't believe it's been 25
Yo,
years.
they wheeled the TVs into our classroom to like watch the events unfold.
Goodness.
My dad
Gosh.
did that. My dad was, both my parents were teachers. And my dad did that. He's a PE teacher.
Yeah.
And it was like that. Like he rolled the TV.
I think that was a regular thing. Like you're
watch the
witnessing
event.
something terrible in history happening before you, and like it was Miss Redenz's. Actually, it was 5th grade. Is social studies class, and I remember like being like, "Oh, the people on the plane are fine because everyone's got an eject button on the plane." That's what 5th grade Max thought.
Well, in preparation for the 25th anniversary, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation sent a memo to its staff with instructions on how to refer to the terrorist attacks, but specifically to not call the events terrorist attacks.
What?
Do not refer to the September 11th attacks as terrorist attacks, according to the memo. The hijackings led to passenger jet crashes in Washington, D.C., Pennsylvania, and Manhattan. The World Trade Center, WTC, in second reference, was destroyed. So you had a conservative member of Canadians' parliament that was upset about this, obviously. Senator Mike Lee out of Utah, he reacted on X saying maybe we shouldn't call Canada a friendly country. In a statement defending the outlet, the CBC director in Canada, the public affairs director, Carrie Kelly, pointed to a 2023 editor's blog that argues using the labels like terrorist attacks would make the outlet appear less impartial. Listen, the left is essentially allowing radical jihadists to carry influence over their over their commentary. And I'm convinced it's because they believe that they're part of their political ideological ranks. And so therefore they can't be offensive to them. But make no mistake, as we've been talking about on the show this week, I mean, those particular radicals, they will come for the left party in Canada or America. It is just a matter of time. But Grace, we can start with you. You seem the most stunned by all of this right now.
That is despicable. That is disgusting. I was kind of on the fence about the whole Lake Ontario thing. I was like, that's kind of dumb. Yes, we should rename it. Screw you, Canada. What the heck? Am I wrong here?
No, you're not wrong at all. Listen, it was just a matter of time until the leftist media made it official, because they were already doing this anyways. They've been leaning this direction to downplaying. The fact that they're even talking about 9/11, I think, is actually a testament in and of itself, because you don't even get that much anymore. So this doesn't surprise me. It's not right by any stretch. And again, it downplays just what I mentioned. You are catering to the most radical of radical jihadists. RNC committeeman A.K. Kamara is now sitting on the comfy sofa here in the American Experiment Studios. What are your thoughts on this, sir?
Yeah, I mean, this is par for the course. This is how the left looks at everything to do with America, even looking at like colonial powers, which has always been so fascinating to me, that Canada, they technically are still under a monarchical system. Yes, they do have representatives and premiers and everything like that, but technically they're part of like the British crown. But I will say that with the Marxist, anti-colonial, anti-American, anti-empire, doing that thing with my fingers, yeah, they're going to downplay acts like terrorism that are justified by the terrorists. Like if you go back and you look at the scrawlings and writings of Osama bin Laden, like he had all of these grievances, and there are legitimately people that think that he was in the right to strike back at the heart of the American empire, that we did this to ourselves. So it's not surprising to me at all. And I'm with you, Grace. Like, let's change everything that has to do with Canada just to show them that we're the big dogs. Like, you're getting a little bit too much, like, you know, bass in your voice when you're talking to us. And I just think that it's just, this is the world that we live in. The left, they truly side with terrorists.
Yeah.
That's the reality we're
as
living
long as
in.
it's
So,
politically expedient for
of
them.
course.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, they'll use whatever means necessary, but that's why we have to push back like never before if we want to keep a country.
Max Reimer, you have thoughts on this?
Yeah, two things, right? The fact that Justin Trudeau is dating Katy Perry popped into my head. That's wild.
I forgot about that.
Isn't that crazy?
Are they still together?
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, they are.
I think they are.
Yep.
But former prime minister who basically, all right, we got to confirm from Isaac.
It's odd how much because formerly, and I can't believe I know this, formerly she was dating Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
She's got a good roster.
What a good pick. I mean, come on.
I know. I got a big crush on
Legolas fan. Legolas fan over
Pirates
there.
of the Caribbean. Come
Yeah,
on. I mean,
yeah. Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
Peak cinema.
Actually, you score bonus points for going Pirates of the Caribbean over Lord of the Rings. So
I know both equally.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's like as good as a blonde.
Nicely, nicely done. So sorry, Max, we completely stepped on.
Yeah, I forgot what my second
We went to what's really important.
What's really important is Justin Trudeau is dating Katy Perry.
That's the first thing that reminded you of.
It just shows.
No, it was just I was just thinking about this was a guy who
It seems like a terrorist attack.
Yeah, I mean he basically is a terrorist. Yeah, but this is a guy who shut down his country, basically destroyed the economy, and was as hardline on COVID as you could possibly be. For all intents and purposes, was a monarch for a couple of years. And now it's like he's going to Coachella with Katy Perry.
And by the way, you hear this term a lot, and we're going to get into this a little bit later on. So I'm getting ahead of myself. I have a story here in the stack. I gotta pull through it. We have Gen Z slang words that used to have wildly different meanings. So we're going to get into that a little bit later on. I'm looking forward to that.
That'll be fun.
But you see often it's usually attached to who is the Christopher Nolan the actress who used to be Juno and
Ellen or
Elliot Page.
Ellen Page, Elliot
Yes.
Page. So they do the side by sides of when she was looking like a female versus now not looking like a female, and they say this is what the left took from us. You see that terminology a lot, right? The same thing rings true with Katy Perry. I remember being a Katy Perry fan when she first arrived on scene, and it was like, wow, this is going to be like a hip alternative jewel. I really enjoyed her music, and then she just took a dark turn, man, and now she's just a wackadoodle.
You know, Katy Perry got her start in Christian music.
Yes. Yep.
And
probably should have led with that.
Now I think is about as anti-Christian as could possibly be.
So that's what the devil. So I guess it's not the left took her from us. The devil took her.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of the same thing, though. Okay, let's just be super clear. The left is like firmly associated with satanic, anti-Christian, anti-God themes. Like just the simple fact of when you like really dig down into the minutia of critical theory in general, it's about rejecting all of these structures that have created the modern American supremacy that exists or colonialism. And all of that really is rooted in Christianity, right? Like the founding of this nation, about all of our founders talking about how they believe that you need to have this connection with God and Christianity, all of these different aspects of the founding of our nation goes hand in hand with what has now become overtly right wing. And it's not because like we wanted it to be that way. It'd be nice to live in a country where you can have difference of how you solve problems without being like everything that you represent and the foundations of your entire movement we're against. But yeah, like legitimately, when you see all of the Satanist, monuments and all of the little statues that they put at all the state capitals, those are all supported by Democrats.
I want to go back to the Canadian removing terrorists from reference when talking about the 9/11 attacks, because there's a direct correlation to also what's happened here in America with the rise of the Islamist DSA candidates that have been cropping up across the country and winning these primaries, are actually winning seats. Like they almost have to change this terminology in order to give the media a free pass to not go and address this issue when it comes up on 9/11, because I think we can all agree there's no way on God's green earth that any of these candidates aligned with Islam are going to be asked their thoughts on 9/11 when we get near the anniversary. So this is just an extension of that up to Canada. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw outlets here, maybe not being as vocal, but behind closed doors saying, hey, don't mention the word terrorist when we're talking about the 25th anniversary of 9/11.
And I'll just say too, we've talked about him before on the show, but this Hassan Piker, who's a mainstream left podcaster at this point, where he is campaigning with DSA candidates. He's a huge fan of Tim Walz, and Hassan Piker is on record of saying we deserve 9/11.
100%.
And you have candidates that are more than eager to campaign with this guy. And you also have other Democrats now who are backtracking and saying, we disavow, we disavow, we disavow. This is probably the voice on the left right now, at least the younger left, saying that America deserved 9/11.
Grace, I think we've talked about this. I think we've talked to you about this before, but I mean, how much was 9/11 brought up when you were going to school? Do you even recall how much it was a topic going through? I mean, whether it was grade school or whether it was college?
I don't know. I feel like it came up regularly every single year on the anniversary, and you'd talk about it in school and you'd hear about it on TV. And yeah, I feel like it was very present culturally when I was growing up. Yeah.
Isaac, how about you? Did you?
Yeah, same. I remember like being kind of like fascinated by it, just because like I like every anniversary, like I would watch, on the History Channel or like whatever, I'd watch the documentaries or this, people telling the stories about it. And yeah, I think it was, but maybe that was just kind of, I went to a private school. So
gotcha. Yeah, were you public or were
I was private?
You were private? Okay, so you were private. Okay, so that makes a little bit more sense as well. All right, 612-584-4565. That is the number. If you want to leave us a blast this morning, you can email john.justice@americanexperiment.org. Let's go back to the blaster line this morning and hear from a friend of the show. Speaking of Gen Z.
John, speaking of Gen Z vernacular, I recently learned from my college sophomore that
you know what? We're going to stop that right there before we go any further. No. No. I'm making a programming call. I could probably get away with this on streaming, but at the same time, I'm not exactly sure what the reference is. So I'm just going to blow right past it. Let's go and give friend of the show, Eric. He kicked off in the first hour, leaving a comment, but we'll hear from him again
Hey,
this morning.
Eric. Every time we go into one of these
Canada stories, I just hear Robin Williams singing that song from South Park, Blame Canada.
Yeah.
You know, fiction becomes reality again.
Thank you for that, Eric. And we now have our full House seated. So we have RNC Committeeman A.K. Kamara, Representative Max Reimer, Grace Keating, and now Catherine Johnson has joined us as well.
Good morning.
How was your guys' trip, by the way? We'll talk about this a little bit later. We're going to get into the award that American Experiment received just after 8 o'clock. But how was the, Catherine, how was the trip?
It was good. It was very good. We meet up once a year with people from the State Policy Network, which is basically like groups all over the country that are sort of like American Experiment, but in different states. And it's a good opportunity to see what people are doing in other states and what we could do here in Minnesota. And it was fun. One downside is it's like one of these conferences. You don't totally leave the hotel like ever. But the time I did leave the hotel, I was walking around the grounds and they had an owl.
Okay.
That's the whole story, but it was really cool.
They had an owl.
Did you see that?
I did.
You did? Okay. Yeah. It was so cool. They had like an in-house owl.
Who had an owl?
The Ritz-Carlton of Orlando, which is actually like a connecting property. We were like in the Marriott that connected to it. So I went for a little walk and I just stumbled upon an owl, which is pretty cool. Like if I had a hotel, maybe I would also have a.
So this wasn't a freestanding owl. This was like an owl that was a part of the Ritz-Carlton.
This is like property of the Ritz-Carlton Kids Club. They have like a kids club.
There we go.
Raptor and owl.
Oh,
guy. Because I saw. Pretty sure I saw a hawk at one point, and I was asking the staff like, why is there a falconer like out with his?
Yeah, you guys aren't going to believe this. I experienced the same thing at a conference in Phoenix, Arizona. There was an owl guy.
What is this?
There's an owl guy.
So far behind the times.
I have a picture of me standing next to this gentleman with a big old owl on his arm. And me being dumb, I was like, "Can I hold it?" And he was like, "No, you need one of these. Otherwise, this owl will basically like
Rip
take your arm off."
Yeah. No, they have
Like,
very sharp talons.
Okay.
Now, was it like the Harry Potter?
No,
owl?
it was like a speckled owl.
Oh, a speckled owl.
And it was quite cool. And then I started taking a picture of it and it put its little face down and glared at me like really intensely.
I bet this was the same guy. This is probably a traveling show
man,
because he did the same thing,
dude.
Were you at a Ritz-Carlton?
I can't remember what the hotel was.
I wonder if the owl's name was Carlton.
Oh gosh, I hope so.
We're answering the tough questions.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to totally derail, but that was one of my favorite parts.
Did not have owl on my bingo card for Freedom Friday this morning. So interesting. Well, I'm glad you guys had a good time.
It was delightful.
Yeah, but this guy could like give this owl a command and he would like plop down and give you like this face for a selfie.
They probably had like a little shot collar on it.
I would imagine this.
on Piker, you know.
Yeah.
That's probably all the owl could do. I mean, they're kind of very confined. I would
can turn
imagine
their head
that, you know,
almost like 360 degrees.
well, they can do so they can do that, and they can do selfies.
Yep.
Yeah, and then if you're in Harry Potter, they can deliver mail. But apparently this wasn't
really well.
Okay. Let's go here. Speaking of delivering mail, the U.S. Postal Service implemented the Trump administration policy restricting the mail-in voting, requiring states to send the voter rolls to the federal government and deliver ballots only to voters matching federal citizenship data. This is key when it comes to the audio I'm going to share here in a moment. The controversial rule, challenged by 24 Democrat states and voting rights groups, increases federal government involvement in elections, and the Justice Department defended the rule, claiming it only improves the USPS infrastructure and has minimal impact on the state election administration. So the United States Postal Service is already moving forward on some of these rule changes, which is great news. However, Kamala Harris, haven't heard from her in a while.
Oh boy.
She had some comments, posted a video online yesterday. Now, before I play the audio, I just want to, somebody did the math for me, so I didn't have to. This is 47 seconds. And they counted, there were 15 jump cuts in this video for 47 seconds of audio.
Release the unedited version. Come on.
How drunk was she?
She's just a horrible.
Dude, it's
horrible
47 seconds. I mean, I'll give you a take or two, but you can do, when you hear the commentary, you can do this in one take. There's no reason why. You don't even have to be like a host. You're a politician. You're used to speaking in front of people. One take. 15 jump cuts to get this.
He votes by mail from Mar-a-Lago, but he doesn't want you to vote by mail. Hey, everybody. Just this week, the United States Supreme Court backed up the president's agenda. He's trying to make it more difficult for you to vote by mail. By the way, he votes by mail from Mar-a-Lago, but he doesn't want you to vote by mail because he knows you're paying attention. Context is so important. Gas prices are up, food prices are up. He got us in a war that the American people don't want, and he is worried he is going to lose the midterms. We are 2 months away from the midterms. Get out and vote. Let's get everyone out to vote. They are cheating. They are trying to cheat, and we have got to turn out in big numbers and be too big to rig. I'll see you out there.
Just stealing all of it.
I have to jump in here. As the video editor here at American Experiment, I feel so bad for her video editor because like we'll do videos here and like we'll do 4 or 5 takes.
Sure.
And it's such a pain.
Mm-hmm.
And for 15 cuts, for a 40 whatever second video.
47 seconds.
Insane. Like we film videos all the time around here. No one takes more than like 4.
It's insane. And when you watch the video itself too, you can see like when it cuts, she's in a different spot.
Yeah.
Like she's kind of doing this. So I'll just share my quick thought. We can go around the room on her comments. So when she talks about she doesn't want you to vote, the only people that she can be referring to are individuals that are not eligible to legally go and vote. That's it. And the point's going to be lost on most people watching it. But Katherine Johnson, your thoughts on Kamala Harris and her jump cut video?
Well, it's very interesting that she just adopted all of the same talking points. I mean, they spent how many years freaking out about Trump's too big to rig. They called it the big lie. They called it, and then, of course, once again, the Democrats are questioning the security of our elections. It almost seems like this is a bipartisan issue and Congress should pass the SAFE Act or something like that. I don't know.
By the way, just really quick, a friend of the show, lawyer James Dickey, just sent over. I guess that judge has now temporarily blocked key parts of the new mail-in ballot rules. This was the judge that put the block in the first place.
Yep.
And then rescinded the block, saying that she couldn't do anything because the Supreme Court ruled the way that it did. And now, allegedly, she's gone and put in new blocks on this. I wasn't aware of this until James.
Last night at 9:30, her ruling came back, which is just insane. Like I was thinking about this when the story first broke. The Supreme Court already made an initial determination, and now this again district federal judge is going and saying, "Well, I'm making this ruling." So there's going to be a showdown of district federal judges versus the Supreme Court. Now, I get from a technical standpoint, there's certain aspects of what her initial ruling was that she's making a new ruling on, but it's stupid. It's very, very clear. The president has, within a certain scope and limitation, the ability to say, we're not doing universal mail-in ballots, because that's what we're talking about here. The idea that you just spam blast every person that could or could not be legally registered to vote at a specific location, you just blast them with a bunch of ballots and only the legal ones will turn them in, is insane. Like, I think that the RNC and Chairman Gruters has an amazing message out there. We want to make it easy to vote and hard to cheat. That's what Republicans want to do. Democrats want to make it easy to cheat and hard to prosecute. That's literally the difference between the two. So I think universal mail-in ballots is insane. And the fact that this judge is now going up against the Supreme Court, the one thing that I've noticed, the Supreme Court does not take lightly to lower courts trying to overrule them. Right. Even the crazy liberals on the bench. So I think they're going to come out and be like, no, stop this.
Before I go back to the blaster line at 612-584-4565, Max and or Grace, you guys have thoughts on the ruling or the comments from Kamala Harris?
I'll just say with that Kamala Harris clip, if it's her again, if we have to run against her again in 2030, I don't know if I can take that voice.
I know,
for
right?
a year and a half.
I know.
That's, if for no other reason, I hope the Democrats put up a different candidate just so I don't have to listen to that regularly. That was wild.
Mar-a-Lago.
No, it is astounding when you have these politicians who have kind of fallen out of the public focus and they just pop their little gopher heads up every now and then. And then the take that they are giving you is so poorly spoken and so unhinged. And this is such a perfect example of that. This is the first time I've heard Kamala Harris speak in quite some time. And it's 47 seconds of wandering nonsense. And she's practically slurring words when she says Mar-a-Lago. This is the foot she's putting forward to the American people after not having heard from her in some time. I kind of hope that she's the nominee. I kind of want to do this again.
I just want to say that the thing that's most fascinating, just like think of the current state of the Democrat Party. If they actually could get their stuff together and present like a coherent message of the things that they stand for, not just like just everything Trump does is bad, then we might actually be really concerned. I personally am not that concerned. I think that as long as we continue to tell people to get out and vote, like they're going to change this state and change this country if they get power back, but it is so disjointed, and they've really defaulted to let's run on issues that we're holding basically like the Maha and MAGA coalition together, and we're just going to needle all those points as though the people that would be, I guess maybe off of the bandwagon are suddenly going to look at the Democrats and say, yeah, like let's give the communist power again.
Yeah.
It's just insane because look at all the points that she hit and making it too big to rig. Like, I know that some of it's tongue in cheek and we're in the, social media trolling era of the United States and American politics, but like, I think she's serious.
Oh, I do too.
And I think she's drunk in that. Just to be clear.
Complete side note, most people aren't even going to know this band at all, but it completely threw me off. Are any of you familiar with the band Ghost? No? Okay. Anybody? No? All right. So this is just an alternative group, rock group. They're one of these anonymous groups, kind of they do kind of a Kiss thing, right?
Oh, sure.
They have a movie coming out. It's on IMAX, but it's called Too Big to Rig. I thought it was some political thing. I'm like, what is this about the election? What is it going on? I go, oh, it's the band Ghost.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, you know what?
Fascinating.
Yeah.
You're fascinating to talk to.
All right, this talkback's better than that commentary.
Good morning, John and Friday Team Rick in Virginia. Remember, I think Hillary was the one that really started this, but Obama perfected it. Whatever they accuse the Republicans of doing, they're already doing and probably perfected it. Yeah. Kamala Harris is not relevant. I mean,
I heard, I saw a story yesterday that apparently she's having trouble sort of attaching herself to any other candidates. Like those on the left do not want to associate with her.
Yes, I saw that with, I think it's in Michigan, in Iowa, and a couple of other states where Kamala Harris is offered to come campaign for these candidates, and one by one, all of these candidates are saying, absolutely not. Don't come near my state.
We had a comment that rolled into the blaster line regarding owls.
Good morning, Freedom Friday crew. Nobody probably cares about this, but I just think it's so weird because I don't typically see owls anymore. But you guys talking about your owl sightings just last weekend. We were sitting out on the deck in Woodbury, and this huge owl came flying by and perched on the corner of the peak of the neighboring house and just sat there and looked around, flew off, which, there's no take-home message there. I just think it's funny that what's the deal with all the owls?
I think, actually, I think that's a sign that the GOP is going to do really well this November election.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
That was
Did she say he didn't leave a message?
No, she said that she she has no take home message.
I thought she was like, unfortunately, he had no scroll.
The owl didn't have a Harry Potter letter.
Yeah, his talents or whatever.
He usually leaves messages, but
waiting for him to address me. Maybe he had something profound to say.
It is okay.
Does the owl show up and offer pearls of wisdom?
Yeah, it was a delightful talkback.
It was.
I was always afraid of owls because of the Secrets of Nim cartoon.
Oh yeah,
with the spooky owl that's like wizard or whatever.
Fantastic.
No, that's a fantastic kids cartoon from like what had to be like early '80s, but I watched it when I was probably like 6, 7, or 8. Holds together super well, but it's kind of scary.
Oh yeah, it's terrifying.
It's got like some real adult themes in there, but it's still great animation.
I love that blast just because I love to acknowledge that you see these majestic things in nature. And I just got to say, seeing an owl like that just come up and perch, and it's this massive bird. Sorry, I'm getting a little crunchy here on today's show. It's amazing.
I'm glad you are, though, because you bring up something that I've actually been thinking about for a while. I'm not even kidding. I've been thinking about for a while. You need to, Max, do like a like deep thoughts with Max Reimer. I see the posts that you do online, and you go down these very just sort of thoughtful, meditative little rants about everyday life. And I feel like people here in Minnesota could glean something from deep thoughts with Max.
Because
with Max
life
Reimer.
is beautiful. Life is amazing.
This is what I'm talking about.
Oh
my God.
Well,
I feel like
I just
this is a
brought
great
Harvey up
segment.
real quick. I brought Harvey out to Lake Mille Lacs for a fishing trip before he goes to school next week. And just being up there to the Blasters point, when you see this owl perched on the house, Harvey and I got to see so many bald eagles just sitting there staring at us. And I was like, you know what? That is so cool.
Did they have any messages for you?
They did not.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Vote Republican.
This is so wholesome.
Well, I just feel like it's a commentary on America too. Like we have this cool, beautiful country. You don't have to go that far to see incredible wildlife and things like that. I mean,
Orlando, Florida.
Just
apparently
they have them in a
the
cage
natural
in
habitat
Italy.
of owls
and Woodbury.
All right, let's go here. So, Alpha News, Mahmoud Hassan Mohammed.
God bless you.
24 years. 24 years.
Good Swedish name, that.
Now I feel like I got to start over. No. Okay, this 24-year-old was charged with fourth-degree damage to property after stealing and destroying an American flag at an Edina property. He was already facing a felony charge of threats of violence, has a history of traffic-related convictions, and a recent DWI event. So he stole the American flag from a property in Edina on Wednesday morning, dragged it behind his vehicle before he was chased off by bystanders, returned to the property the same afternoon, and then shredded the flag. This is according to messages received by Crime Watch Minneapolis. And as I mentioned, he has been taken into custody. This is what I'm. If you have any thoughts, you feel free to share them, Freedom Friday crew. But I just wanted to add something. I want this jerk interviewed. I want to know why he did it. I want to know what motivated him, or if he's just an a-hole. You know, just like whomever has been vandalizing the cars in downtown Minneapolis. Can we have a media that shows a little bit of curiosity to get into the background of why these individuals are doing these stupid things, to find out if they're politically motivated or if they're just doing it because they can? Like, why would I genuinely want to know why this guy would do something like this?
Well, you'll probably hear from him, not from the media, but on a podium next to Mary Moriarty when he's presented with a Minnesota Medal of Freedom after he gets out of jail, because that's what she's going to do for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think you don't have to think too hard about it. It's pretty straightforward. There's been this growing sentiment by American Muslims that America is an awful place. So yeah, I'm not surprised to see like a younger, Muslim kid / young man that just wants to show his hatred of this country.
A youth.
And that's to me the most obvious reason. And it's sad, because I think that this country has so many amazing values to offer. All you have to do is just like look around and be like, oh man, I'm glad I'm not like in Mogadishu right now, like pooping in a street and like, having to fight off like Al-Shabaab's terrorists or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think it's not just hijinks. It's a kid that clearly hates the country that has given him so much.
Well, and it's not just individuals and immigrants from the Muslim community either. To your point, the Jake Lang protest that took place, the guy that was riding by on his bike that I don't think was part of any of what was going on, and he happened to have an American flag headband just hanging out of the backpack, and the fascist Antifa members there that were protesting against Lang descended upon this guy and almost beat him up before he was able to sort of escape. So maybe you're right. I just would like a little bit of curiosity to find out what his motivation is.
Yeah, I think something about this connects to what we were talking about earlier with the anniversary of 9/11. I think there are moments that, our country has come together and had real surges of patriotism, and we haven't had that in a long time. And I certainly learned about 9/11 and the kind of hatred that other countries and other people have for us because we have it so good here in America. But I don't know that people, now that we've gotten this far out, are getting that message when they're going through school. And so I think, we have a lot of young people in Gen Z who just do not have the right reverence for the values of America.
All right, let's talk a little Minnesota State Fair.
Oh, yes.
I knew Catherine's going to be excited about this. Jacked. So are you so first off, you guys, Catherine and Grace, you both got back yesterday.
Yes.
Okay. Catherine, you're going to the fair today.
Not today. I'm going
Okay.
tomorrow for the
Okay,
first
yeah,
time.
we're all going to be there
Yep.
tomorrow. So, and Center of the American Experiment will be there. Dan Patch area, is that what we're calling
Dan Patch Park.
Dan Patch
is the official
Park.
name. Yes.
Still can't get it right.
Just south of the grandstand.
There
That's
we
where
go.
We are.
Okay.
Yeah, the grassy part by the grandstand.
I'll be there from 11 until 1. So who here is going to be there during that period of time of the Freedom Friday crew?
Me.
Okay, Catherine Grace, are you going to be there during that time?
I am actually quite devastated to say that I can't be there tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
I am buying a house this weekend.
Oh, congratulations.
So have some other
Whoa.
things to attend to, but
Okay.
very, very sad to be.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
What kind of owl population?
In this
did
market?
you find an owl an owl friendly area?
I've not seen any owl sightings yet, but I will certainly update the
Let us
viewers
know.
as soon as that happens.
All right.
Max, you're going to be there.
Nope.
Nope.
Not going to be there either.
No.
AK, you're going to be there?
I am going to be at a wedding in
All right.
Hayward, Wisconsin.
All
Shout
right.
out to Ivory Hecker
Hayward?
and Corey. What up?
Woo! My mom's hometown.
Okay. All right.
Shout out Hayward.
Go
the
Hayward.
The Heckers, the strong logging family
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
with plenty of pro-America. Like the Hecker family is like the most pro-America family. That like couple of the kids are named like Patriot and Freedom and stuff like that. But yeah,
Well, I hear that the local sports team there in Haywood has an owl as their mascot. So
that's what I heard too, man. It's all
That's a
just
total lie.
coming
So,
together.
Catherine, it's just us then, I guess.
Solo
Well, yeah, everyone
do it.
still turn up. I mean,
Yeah,
come
absolutely.
on.
Yeah. No, come on out. So I bring all this up because I got a couple of fair-related items to talk to you guys about this morning on a Freedom Friday. Again, Catherine Johnson, Grace Keating, Max Reimer, and AK Kamara. And we'll get to more of your thoughts. Open to on and off-topic comments at 612-584-4565. So the Republican Party of Minnesota announced Wednesday that it hired off-duty police officers to provide security at its state fair booth. That announcement comes as concerns about safety at the Minnesota State Fair have increased in recent days. It's dovetailing off of the gang lawsuit, the Muddy and the Ville that we've been talking about for the past 3 weeks. You had the Minnesota GOP chair, Alex Plekish, said because of the increase in political violence, potential threat from rival gangs, the Minnesota Republican Party has hired an off-duty law enforcement officers to protect our staff, volunteers, candidates, everyone who visits the booth. So first off, do we think that there was anything else beyond that and there was more internal threats that they're hearing about, or do you think it was just because of the gang issue? I'm kind of looking at AK.
Yeah,
to
you
see
can look at me. I am a member of the state executive committee for the Republican Party of Minnesota. And last year, I think after the Charlie Kirk assassination, right, I think that there was this kind of growing idea of like, well, if we don't really do the best to make sure that our volunteers are protected, what's that going to look like? So again, last state fair was before the Charlie Kirk assassination, and we already had a bunch of like the No Kings folks that were coming up. We had multiple people. There was a viral video of a guy that refused to leave, and then he fought with an off-duty cop, and then he was fighting with a state fair cop. So the conversations are like, we should probably have something. But again, this same deranged pro-violence leftist movement, they've been stopping by the booth already on the first day and shouting things. Tom Evanstead ended up
gonna go there, yeah.
arrested. I mean,
dressed
this
as
is just
Spider-Man.
like, just think about for a second, like, honestly, the DFL's not doing the same thing. That kind of shows that there is a pro-violent side to the left in the state of Minnesota. And I'm not saying every, run-of-the-mill, card-carrying Democrat DFL voter. Of course, I'm not talking about you. But there is an embrace of this violence.
I would.
And
I think I would
that's
go
what I
farther
said.
than that because I look back at when I was a kid and, they had flip and flop outside the state fair booth. Does anyone remember this? I think it was
Tom and Nick
for,
Erickson.
I think it was for the Kerry election. I think it was about him. And one of them got beat up on his walk back to his car. And so I think that there is something about, we like to think about Minnesota as Minnesota nice and all these things, but there's a violent element to the Democrats in this state. I mean, maybe this country in general, but there's a violent element that has always been there. And you look at the way they have embraced radical revolutionaries and things like that as well. It's not that surprising. And I'm glad they're getting security. Every time I've been at the MNGOP booth, I've had a great experience, but have many times had people just walking by who will shout something derogatory. And that's what we have to deal with here in Minnesota. And it's sad.
So I just wanted to mention, and you guys are kind of asking the question answering the question I was going to ask, and that was it necessary? On first blush, when I saw this, my instinctive reaction was kind of like, are we doing this to just sort of bring attention to what had happened with the Ramsey County attorney and Thief Ellison dealing with the gangs? But now that I've heard some more commentary, I see more validity to it. Your Tom Evensted's aside, that was just a stupid trying to, that's what he always is doing. He's always trying to gain attention for himself. He's a disturbed political groupie going there dressed as Spider-Man causing problems. So, but again, based off of the commentary that I've heard so far, I actually see some legitimacy in this. Max Reimer?
Yeah, maybe the gang threats are part of it, but I have volunteered at that booth enough over the last decade to say that Catherine's right. There are people who have a conniption when they walk past that booth, and usually they're liquored up and they've had a few beers at a few different stops. But you have, in fact, if you're at the state fair and you walk over to that GOP booth, just be sure to thank volunteers that are there, because they are volunteers. Because when you are working that booth, you will have F-bombs thrown at you. You will have people get in your face. I personally experienced that a couple of times over the number of times I volunteered at that booth. People get ridiculous when they walk past that booth, especially when they see like a Donald Trump cutout or a politician of note who is there. They will go past you. They will hurl F-bombs. They'll give you the middle finger. They'll get up in your face. It's a regular thing.
Wow.
It really is.
It is. And it's crazy because what that must mean is that people in Minnesota are so stuck in their bubbles that a cardboard cutout of Donald Trump just throws them into a tizzy.
Mm-hmm.
What an insane way to live. Like, I've never walked by the DFL booth and been just like, oh, F you. Like, what in the world? These people are so unwell.
All of the conservatives that I know will stop by the DFL booth to like laugh at them, to like take a picture of them with Kamala Harris cutout and be like, this is hilarious.
Well, it's a further example of something that's been discussed on the show a bunch, and the commentary that I heard from somebody else that I can't take credit for, that Democrats in Minnesota want to vote for Democrats that end up governing like Republicans. But the reason why they don't is because of Catherine, what you mentioned. The left has done such a good job of vilifying conservatives and attaching it to Trump that's just the visceral reaction that people have. It is a hatred. It's that those on the left hate those on the right, where those on the right hate the policies and the ideologies of those on the left.
Like, I even couched it earlier, right? I said, now I'm not talking about like the everyday rank and file, like I'm a DFLer. I think they let it slide, don't get me wrong, but I still like to say that as a general movement, the left, especially with their embrace of Marxism, as deep as their core base is now, they are a pro-violence movement. And I think it's just by the Republican Party putting out this press release just to kind of hopefully show regular people, I've been a volunteer with Republican Party going all the way back to 2006. I've been at the state fair booth every single year, and you always will get like kind of a smattering of people that come in and they scream expletives at you. But I will say that last year, multiple times that people had to physically be removed by other volunteers because they were getting in the face and putting their hands on people. So it's like this next level. And I think it would be terrible because, as you know, the state fair won't allow people to actually carry a firearm to protect themselves. So you are hoping that maybe one of these deranged leftists doesn't sneak a firearm in. And it's crazy. So you said, Max, stop by the booth and say thank you to all the volunteers. Yeah, say thank you to everyone that's out there, because they actually are putting themselves in danger to support the party in the things that they believe in.
So
do you think AK would get fewer people screaming at him than
I do. So
do you think you get more, or
I get I would say a lot of middle-aged women that will scream crazy things at me, and then what I always do, like most guys, I'm physically intimidating, won't like get real froggy with me.
Okay.
It's the women, but I usually, because I'm still a big guy, I will walk towards them and they'll move back, and then I'll walk outside of the booth and go stand over by there's a park bench right outside of the booth.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll talk to them for like half hour. And usually by the end, they're way more chill, but they initially, I'm the de-escalator because I physically have a large presence. But yeah, a lot of people will direct their ire towards me crazily the women.
Like, that makes sense though, because the
straight for
women
me.
don't actually think you're going to go after them. The men think they could be sorry. I get men constantly, like men, and my husband will point this out. Men are so mean to me, and it's like so on the left
On the
are
left, yes.
so weird. Why is it men? And I bet men don't go after you nearly as much.
No, I mean honestly, never, because I put my hands on him and it's game over. You know.
So I have an idea. I want to use this blast that came in, though, before I mention my idea. Dovetailing off of what you guys are talking about, let's go here to the blaster line this morning.
I just have to talk about the owls. I moved to Florida about 2 years ago, and I am just amazed how many owls live by my house. So this is a Florida thing, in my opinion, that there's so many flowers.
Okay, so here's my thought.
Love it.
So you know how we've done the cameras where I don't know which was it a giraffe? I think we did giraffe cam at some point in time.
Yeah, and then the eagle nest.
We did
cam.
the eagle nest cam. The GOP, and maybe even we should do this. You need to have a camera set up. Just have a live feed facing out from the booth.
You're right.
So that people can just watch the reaction.
Great idea.
Put it right next to a Trump standee. I would watch that all day long to just see the reaction.
That's $1 million idea. We could do it through the MNGOP YouTube, and we'll monetize it, make money, and help.
It would shock you.
Yeah.
It would shock you if you have not been if you have not volunteered at that booth. If you've not been to the state fair in a while, it will. That camera will shock you.
That would be amazing. That would be.
We need to donate a camera to put out front. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on
See,
it.
there you go. Yeah.
Put a standee of Trump. Just put it there. Just put it on the
is one
corner
right now.
Right. Okay.
And
Yeah,
there's a Trump
behind his
2024
head.
Put it right there.
Get some insurance
just-
on that
oh,
camera.
You'll be seeing people
Yeah.
spit on it, like people just get drained. But and then what we should do is we don't have to stream it, but do the same, like pointing at the DFL to see how that doesn't happen at all. So you can see that it's just
100%.
deranged people directing at the right. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. I'm out. I'm done. Let's wrap the show up.
Great idea.
That's a great idea.
No, actually, I have this. Richard Chin from the Minnesota Star Tribune. How not to be a jerk at the Minnesota State Fair.
Oh.
So I figured we could run through some of this.
I have thoughts.
So the question, there was a question written by a reader of the Minnesota Star Tribune, says, I love the State Fair. The food, the animals, the rides, the crowds, and the noise, and the shoving and the lines bring out the worst in me, though. Got any tips for helping a fair lover handle the downsides? And by that, I mean annoying people at the Minnesota Great Get-Together. Signed me, love-hate. So the article writer says this: with hordes of people from all walks of life in one place bumping into each other, observing good manners and civility are key to surviving and even enjoying the fair. But they ended up deploying the view of an etiquette expert named Nikki Black.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you write this?
No, I don't know that the etiquette.
Were you the person that submitted this?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
No.
Black is the owner of Polished and Beyond, a Plymouth-based etiquette training company. Okay.
Do they get government Medicaid dollars? That's the first question.
This is going to be a job that AI takes real quick.
All right. So let's see. Nikki Black says, having good manners, Black said, boils down to being aware and considerate of the people around you.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can all agree upon that as we.
Yep.
Sure.
That's usually the reason
Noted.
why that people don't.
So I figure what we can do is go through her tips and we can find out whether or not we agree or disagree here, okay? So to negotiate the masses, doing that thing with my fingers, it's best to try to go with the flow, adopt vehicle traffic patterns by walking on the right-hand side of the road. If you need to stop, step aside so you don't impede people behind you. If you're in a large group, walk no more than 2 abreast. So do we have any?
Yeah, right. People are going to follow that. Are you joking?
No, see, this is the problem. She's setting you up for failure. Like, I am pro etiquette, but if you are at the fair, it's every man for himself.
Yeah.
And you need to be bombing and weaving and going in and out. You need to cut across. You need to do what you got to do. You'll never go get to your mini donuts if you're not doing what it takes to get there quickly.
You know, I'm so happy already. I'm so pleased. Grabbing this story was the second best idea I've had today. All
But
right.
I will say, like, you can't be going in big groups. Like, that's just inefficient. Like, you know, like we go 2, 3, maybe. My mom and I go, and then you can navigate much quicker.
I think it's a combo of both. I think I appreciate Miss Black's suggestion here, if you're able to remember it. But I also get what you're saying, bobbing and weaving. The biggest pet peeve for me are people that stop right in the middle.
Yes.
It's like, dude, just go to the right or go to the left. You don't need to stop right in the middle of the walkway.
Yet general awareness of your surroundings is huge. A lot of people do lack that.
She goes on to say, be mindful that the crop art and butter sculpture displays are Minnesota's version of the Mona Lisa. Stop, time out. Is that a good assessment?
No, that's
I don't even stop at those places.
Do you want my actual take on the crop art line? Like, they just changed it this year. I could go on about this for a while.
100% I want your take
Okay,
on
they
that.
used to have the crop art line lined up so stupid. It was like you'd have to go way back, and these people would line up for hours to see the crop art. Whereas if you just kind of went boop, 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 and you went through quickly and you bobbed around, you could get through. It would have been so much quicker. Instead, stupid Minnesotans are just like waiting in line like sheep to get to the front. It's like, no, just get up there, people.
Okay.
Get up there.
Okay. So I'm glad that you said that, because this would run counter to what the etiquette expert says you should do. She says,
yeah, probably.
She says, be patient and wait your turn.
No, that's what we're doing wrong. Like, it's just taking forever and no one gets to the front. It's like they just see a line and they get in it. No, just go up there and you can see it from behind the line.
Grace, you want to?
You know what is actually bothering me about this whole thing? I think I'm getting, maybe more worked up than I should be. But like,
speak for yourself.
I'm not even touching what's happening on this side of the room. But this person is writing into this help columnist saying, like, how do I deal with basically like rude, antisocial behavior kind of at the fair of people shoving and pushing. And this person's response is to just tell them how to behave better. Like, everyone else is still going to be behaved terribly. What would have been more helpful would be to say, bob and weave, act aggressive. Here are some like mental stress relieving breathing tips to just get you through the day. Find a quiet spot to decompress and then go back into the hordes. But like telling this person who's writing in to stand in line and be patient, not helpful.
Completely agree.
So well said. It's making them who are already docile and trying to say, like, listen, I obey like the rules of society. What can I do? I think it should just be one sentence: buy shock gloves. That's it.
Buy shock gloves.
You know what? I'm going to take that. I'm going to take it a step further, because I received this text from a friend of the show. So you have your buy your shock gloves. They say Minnesota GOP fair booth flock camera.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yes. Yes, that thing's gonna get torn down. Real quick.
No, we want it to stay up. We want the camera to stay up. Okay.
Ripped down.
Well,
I just love how the fair is. We're making it seem like somebody should come visit you. What is it, tomorrow?
Yeah. 11 to 1.
You're gonna be stepping into Mad Max apparently.
Seriously.
When you go to the fair.
Better get a football uniform to wear, some shoulder pads.
Yeah.
That is a great idea.
So she says, works of art with a famous reputation attract crowds. Drink in the experience when you finally inch your way into position to see the crop art or butter sculpture displays. Don't linger and cause a backup in the crowd. If you take a photo or selfie, be quick about it.
Okay.
I like how it's like the average reader, to your point, Grace, is the average reader like, I'm that jerk that just makes life horrible. And I never really thought about it until I read this column. Man, I need to stop being such a selfish jerk.
That person writing this letter or reading this column is not the problem in this scenario.
She says, likewise, if you see a bunch of people crowding around a popular food booth, it's always a good idea to ask, is this the end of the line? Can you not figure that out on your own? I mean, I guess you could ask that. I thought these were all relatively benign. I guess I was wrong. Another tip, look at the menu before reaching the counter so that you can order promptly. That helps keep the line moving. Oh, I absolutely agree with that. It drives me nuts.
If you stand up and you're like,
I have to prep the family. If we're going to get Raising Cane's or any fast food place, it's like, have your order ready to go when we drive up there. I do not like
Raising Cane's? Isn't there like 3 things on the menu?
That was a horrible example.
You're like chicken fingers or chicken fingers.
Time out. That's not a horrible example. You've never heard my son Kyle order at Raising Cane's.
No, that's true.
It's true. It's too.
I have not.
It's too. I mean, let's see if I get it right. It is. So what's the big box?
Caniac.
Okay, so I think he does 4. I think what's that? Yeah, box combo. That's right. Is it box combo? He does 2 sauces. Replace the toast with
extra slaw.
No. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
it
Yes,
replaces lava.
so yeah, so he
Isaac
has
is
this
on
whole,
it.
yeah, he has this whole Isaac, you're on it. You should be on your. I know it's okay. No, don't, because I'm not going to be going to you enough for you to go through the rigmarole over there. So yes, to their point, all I was saying was I absolutely agree with her. Have your order ready to go when you walk up. But most of the items there are pretty. If you're going to Sweet Martha's Cookies, you're just getting cookies.
Kind of a one stand, one item.
It's kind of an easy
situation.
Also, this is pretty nitpicky, but your cards, like all the cards tap now. Like the there's always old people like, and then they insert it. Takes too long. It takes forever. It's like just boop, they don't know about the tap.
In the defense of people who have tap cards, that the tap sometimes wears out. So I had a card where the tap wore out, and I had to insert it. And how many? And I will say mostly Gen Z or cashiers are like, "Oh, you can tap." I'm like, "Oh, go ahead, try." oh, it doesn't. Oh my, it's my card. I didn't know it didn't tap. Oh,
you need to get a new card.
Yes, I did. And I did.
Once you have your food, according to the etiquette expert, once you have your food and you're looking for a place to sit, it's fine to share the bench with a stranger if there's plenty of room. Just ask first. You guys,
nope. I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to sit down.
Just sit down.
I might say, "Is this seat taken?"
Yeah,
I'm not asking.
I think that falls into
Hey,
the
do you care if
category.
I sit by you, because it's an open seat.
No,
It
there's
depends on
no
the situation.
savings.
I think it depends on the situation. If you're looking at a bench and there's one person on one end, I'm just sitting down on the other end. If it's mostly taken up, I'll be like, "Hey, do you mind if I sit here? It's really crowded."
There's like
is this
half
not
a
like
cheek
common
left.
sense? Yeah. If you can get one cheek on the bench, I think you ask before you sit.
You ask before you sit.
There's no savings.
If there's one cheek
at the fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
If there's an open seat, someone can take it. You can't just be like, no, I got people coming.
Yeah, that's true. I'm with you on that.
Just like set all your stuff, and then you just sit there by yourself.
Well, people
You
try
have
and do
no
that. It's
friends.
like
you just I gotta sit here.
What's your what is your etiquette when there's like a picnic table and you want to sit down to eat, like, in terms of who's occupying it?
that one's an ask. I do think if you've got a table, you should ask first,
yeah.
but it's definitely open for like,
Is it
if there's
okay if
only
I take
two
this
people on
seat?
one side of the picnic table, can I take the other side?
Yes.
She says, once you're finished gnawing on your turkey leg or corn on the cob, it might make others uncomfortable if you lick your fingers or wipe your hands on your shirt.
Well,
napkins are my friend at the fair, she said.
Okay.
You're licking your fingers when you're walking around the Minnesota State Fair? Do you know what's on them?
Turkey leg. Well, she says turkey leg or corn on the cob.
Yeah, corn on the cob.
Yeah.
Okay. So corn on the cob. I can't believe they haven't came up with this idea yet. Why don't they just have one extra step, or even have your own, like, I don't know what you would call it, but cut the corn off of the cob, put it in a cup so you can eat it. So it's still the corn on the cob, but you're not just sitting there just getting slobber all over and corn particles everywhere. But yeah,
particles.
so
You
like,
want to cut off the cob?
like slice the corn off the cob in a
That's
cup.
the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It's
What in the world? It's not corn on the cob.
It's still fire roasted.
Corn.
Are
Thank
you
you.
eating the corn on the cob because of the taste or because it's on a cob?
I think it's a process. I think it's a whole. It's the whole
the
combo.
taste. It's the taste
no,
of the
it's the whole
fire
process.
roasted with the butter.
It's
But
the
if you could
whole-
get
Yeah.
the exact same thing and slice it.
Also, by the way, they won't even put like salt and pepper in other steps. Like, this is never going to happen. You go up there, they got the salt and the pepper meshed into one container, and you just dump it. So they're not adding steps at that booth. Let
I'm
me
just
tell
saying
you.
if they had it on the side that you could cut your own. I don't know what.
Okay, so
maybe I need to make.
First off, I have a completely like when it comes to eating, like if it's corn in a bowl separately, like I know it's exactly the same thing, but I view it completely different than eating corn on the cob. Like I would much rather eat corn on the cob for some reason over that in a bowl. Hold on, Max, you've been really quiet over here, and you're Mr. Mellow, even keel, deep thoughts with Max Reimer. What is going? Because you haven't really been getting in on.
I don't know. Just be a normal person. Like, what are we doing? Do we need an entire article, a slop article, probably with the assistance of AI, writing about state fair etiquette? Like, just don't be a psychopath, and that'll put you in the 99th percentile of the people at the state fair.
Just exercise good manners, right? All right. Needless to say, I highlighted the rest of this. So we have to get through it. She says, remember the fair is a family affair. Wear comfortable clothing, but consider the reaction you'll get if you wear something too revealing or with a polarizing message.
Sounds like there's going to be some body positivity people writing some angry letters to the editor, back to this or counter opinion to this writer here.
She says, to be sure, the fair is not a church or a library, but there are plenty of kids around. So consider language that can be heard or read by others.
Yeah.
Is there a specific mention about walking by the GOP booth and especially important to not shout vulgarities at the volunteers?
No, but I did get a blast that rolled in based off of that idea.
John, I had the same exact idea with having a camera live streaming, but even better yet at the GOP booth would be to have like a montage at the end of the fair, kind of like the Minnesota boys high school hockey tournament where they highlight all the hair. Just highlight all the lunatics yelling and screaming.
It could end up being used in campaign ads for crying out loud. This is the party that you
probably
belong
wearing
to.
like Klobuchar shirts.
Yeah, they'll have a
Ellison
Peggy
shirts
Flanagan
and
shirt on as they're doing it. They're shameless.
And I think you don't even hide the camera. I think you tell people that they're being recorded because I think you'll end up bringing out the worst.
Yeah.
If they actually know they're going to be on display, they would proudly show what a-holes they are.
Yeah, true.
Just in my opinion.
And as you play the montage at the end of the state fair, it's to the music of "In the Arms of an Angel."
Oh yeah, you're fly away.
You're fascinating to talk to.
Yeah, let's go here.
Okay.
Hey, Stephen Lakeville, in response to the etiquette, nobody wrote into this writer to ask how to behave at the fair with all the Neanderthals out there. We're Minnesotans. We bottle it up. We don't ask for help.
Talk about it.
It's just a shameless attempt to tell people how to act in public.
Is this still is it not now politically incorrect to say Neanderthal? I mean, is there anybody that's speaking out for the Neanderthals?
Yeah, Neanderthal
out there?
rights.
Yeah. Is there anybody that speaks? Who
Probably.
speaks for the Neanderthals? Just out of curiosity. You know what? I'll give it to
You're
myself.
fascinating to talk to.
I will say downside is if people follow these etiquette rules is like less funny to make fun of people at the fair.
Which is a big draw.
Which is a big draw. Like I do, like people watching is one of my favorite parts of
You're a
the fair.
people watcher too?
I love people watching.
I love
people watching. I need to join you at the fair just people watch because that's
I like
legitimately my
favorite part.
Like
Yeah. It's the best part of the fair. So I do agree, you know, the crazy shirts are really something, or if you got your full front half hanging out. Not my favorite, but funny for my experience.
Yes.
So
She raps on this here on the John Justice Show, presented by American Experiment. We're already into the third hour for crying out loud.
Oh my gosh.
Katherine Johnson, Grace Keating, Max Reimer, and AK Kamara. She says it is about presenting the best version of yourself wherever you go, especially in public. It's about respecting others. She goes to the fair every year and feels the Minnesotans do a pretty good job of being mannerly and avoiding faux pas. Everybody who's been to the fair knows what to expect. The only way that can work or work well is by really working together. Do you think, I mean, is it generally okay in terms of that? Or do you think the majority of individuals are not being respectful?
No, I think for the majority, yes, it's people aren't animals. Okay. We're Minnesota still. People can be animalish. I'll say that there's definitely been an uptick in the selfish animal behavior. But yeah, I still think that in general, you're going to have a great time at the fair. You just might be slightly more annoyed by people that act like nobody else is there or around. I'm not endorsing this, but I am saying that I had a buddy that would carry around a can of fart spray. And when people were misbehaving in large public areas, and it's open doors, don't do this indoors, he'd hit a shot of fart juice and, it would disperse crowds. So if you have that group of like 6 people that stops right in the middle and you walk by and you hit them with the fart spray, they're dispersing. They're not going to stand there anymore. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying I've heard it can be effective.
etiquette by AK.
Fart spray, shot gloves.
You said this was a Star Tribune piece?
Yeah.
Man, no wonder they're having layoffs. Imagine trying to justify your existence by writing an article that nobody asked for about the etiquette.
It's
of
very
the
BuzzFeed.
state fair.
I'm 99% sure that I had printed up a story almost exactly the same a year ago when the fair rolled around, and I did not cover it. I don't know if I did.
I feel like we did cover
did
it.
we
I'm
cover
having major deja vu.
Okay.
Are you?
And it was,
All right.
yeah.
Maybe we did then.
Content-wise, extremely simple.
I wonder if anything has changed in terms of best practices from last year.
I have one. Recent development is the weed smell everywhere on especially weekends. I feel like that is actually a huge problem that was not mentioned. Like, don't smoke pot at the fair, please.
Don't
with
bring your Somali gang buddies either.
Or if
Apparently,
you're gonna partake, do gummies.
Yeah, do gummies.
Yeah,
Then
sure,
you gotta
fine.
stay-
That doesn't
gummies,
impact
yeah.
me. Just don't smoke it right in the middle of the park where we're working.
It's not that we care that you're high or even
I
drunk.
do.
It's that
not my
if-
preference.
I don't
if
want to smell
you
that you're high. or
smell
drunk.
it, or you are puking or being sloppy. That's all we care about. Just
Let's go back to the blaster line. There's a comment for AK Kamara here this morning on the John Justice Show.
Yeah, this is for EK. Say EK, I've talked to you several times. You're not physically intimidating, and I'm only 5'6". But then again, I was a sergeant in the Marine Corps.
So apparently, according to him, you're not physically.
well, it's because
intimidating.
he's a Marine, so like he's knows how to use deadly force on people, but most people aren't. Most people are like, 300-pound black guy who is very wide. I wear a 58. That's the size of my chest. I'm
You're
not
gonna,
as
you're
small.
gonna, boy. But you know what? It's
You're
been
fascinating to talk to.
Tell us more about your chest size.
Let's go.
AK.
Let's not. Let's go here.
Shoulders, okay.
So, at AmericanExperiment.org, you can find this, but we're going to talk about it now. Center of the American Experiment did win the 2026 Bob Williams Award for securing durable freedom from the State to Policy Network. The award was announced at the SPN annual meeting in Orlando, Florida. SPN recognized American Experiment's work for exposing and documenting Minnesota's fraud problem. We actually have audio of when the award was handed out at that event.
And the winner of this year's Securing Durable Freedom Award goes to the Center of the American Experiment for exposing Minnesota's.
We're a very vocal table. I don't know if you.
I was wondering if
are
anyone,
getting that.
Let's go.
maybe Isaac was tasked with turning down my volume.
Thanks to all of you, and thanks most of all to Bill Blunt, who has done the bulk of the work for us on the fraud issue.
Yeah, there's a whole Bill Walsh did a whole write-up on this. Through 2 years of relentless investigative reporting, American Experiment exposed more than $9 billion in fraud across Minnesota's social service programs, bringing national attention to a story that demanded accountability. Their reporting reached millions, helped prompt congressional hearings, and contributed to major policy victory, the creation of Minnesota's first government-wide Office of Inspector General to investigate fraud and pursue criminal prosecution. So, congratulations to American Experiment, and as you guys both mentioned, you were in the room when the award was given out, correct?
Yeah, it was a great evening. Obviously, we're very, very grateful for this recognition of Bill Glonn's extremely hard work over the last several years here at American Experiment. And it was really, really just touching to see how other groups rallied around us and recognized the work that we've been doing on fraud here in Minnesota. It was a very nice night.
Yeah, like I said, this is a group of people from all over the country. So there's people from all different states. And sometimes you go to these things and you're like, man, it stinks to be in Minnesota where we can't get a lot done because it's a, blue H hole. But that's not really the truth at all. In reality, we can have a lot of impact here in Minnesota. I mean, look at what came out of the fraud scandal. Our president and vice president created a federal task force, and they're tackling fraud across the entire country. That came out of Minnesota.
Yeah.
And so there's still a lot of impact that we can have as a policy group here in Minnesota, even though sometimes it seems like we're up against like the biggest blue wall. That's not always the truth. We can still make real policy wins here.
Well, congratulations, and I'm sure that was a thrill to be in the room when that was given out too. So that's pretty awesome.
It was fun and good to see Bill Glahn finally get his flowers because he's been working on fraud in Minnesota for so long.
Yeah.
So it was great.
Let's go back to the blaster line this morning, 612-584-4565 here on the John Justice Show.
Morning, John and gang. This is Brian from North Branch. I think the most offensive thing as a fair is people who don't wear deodorant or don't wear enough of it. That's just gag really in itself and offensive. Great shows this week. Have fun at the fair tomorrow. I will not be going to the Great Minnesota Sweat Together.
I don't think I'm sure I've heard that before, but the Great Minnesota Sweat Together. Actually, the weather, I was looking at the forecast, and the weather is supposed to be the best tomorrow. So it's going to be supposed to be rather mild. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, let's go here. Got more items to talk about on the Freedom Friday. On and off topic comments all morning long. AK Kamara. We have Max Reimer, Grace Keating, and Katherine Johnson. Police executed a search warrant Tuesday night at the Minneapolis apartment reportedly shared by Democrat Representative Ilhan Omar's adult son and a man arrested earlier that day on a weapons charge, according to multiple law enforcement sources. Sources told Alpha News the officers recovered firearms and ammo from the apartment where Omar's son, Adnan, allegedly lives with a 22-year-old, not even going to try, Tol Abdi. Not even going to try on that, so it's very long. The Minneapolis Police Department confirmed that officers arrested Tol Abdi and recovered a firearm while impounding his vehicle following a traffic stop earlier in the day. Officers initially stopped Abdi and cited him for driving after his license was canceled and failing to provide a proof of insurance. He was released at the scene. Police later located him and arrested him without incident, was booked in the Hennepin County Jail. Alpha News reported that police executed an apartment search later Tuesday and recovered additional guns and ammo. They've not publicly confirmed to Alpha News the reporting on what was actually found in the search. The raid adds another unusual chapter to the political and personal controversy surrounding Omar and her family, including Omar's daughter as well. So Abdi's been convicted at least 10 times for misdemeanors. Criminal record includes convictions for speeding, driving, and revoked license, using a cell phone while driving, and failing to provide proof of insurance. I made the comment earlier on this. I mean, just the association of Ilhan Omar's son with a guy like this, it says a lot in my mind. We don't know exactly what the charges were regarding this. I'm sure we'll get more details in the near future.
So when I first heard the story, I wasn't sure if it was maybe a little bit sensitive, like making it sensational. So was it the same unit? Because what they keep on saying is the apartment. Are they saying that like they were roommates? Because they also haven't used that terminology either. Or is it like a fourplex and it's just someone that lived in the same building? Any clarification in the story? That's what I keep on waiting for, is like, are they roommates or not? If they're roommates, this is insane. If they're in the same building, I mean, I can't pick.
I believe that they were roommates, but to be honest, that's what I thought I saw in the initial reporting, but I don't see that in the story. I would be surprised at the association if it just happened to be the same building. But then again, you know, sometimes it happens.
Because to AK's point, this is like not a story. If it's just like the same building, I'm like, I don't even. That's why I would assume that they are roommates, right? Because this would not be a story worth writing about if it's like the same apartment complex.
Yeah. Now, if they are roommates, just imagine any Republican congressperson whose child was roommates with someone who's clearly doing illicit, illegal activities on a regular basis. Like, they would be blasted left and right. And it's just this crazy double standard that exists. But to have it be this blatant, especially with all of the conversation about Somali gangs, like, it makes you really question what is going on in these communities, that even the son of a sitting congressperson is like tied up with some illegal activities. It's wild.
So I'm looking at the post that Liz Collin has pinned on here. It says multiple law enforcement sources say a search warrant was conducted Tuesday night on the apartment where the Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's son lives in Minneapolis. Guns and ammo were recovered in response to our questions about what took place. MPD confirmed another man who is not the congressman's son was arrested earlier in the day. So yeah, I'm still a little bit confused because it sounds like the raid was done on the apartment where the son lives, and I'm assuming. So what we're stuck on the term apartment. Is it the apartment?
Is it a roommate?
Is it is
because apartment is still technically an apartment is not just the unit; it's literally the whole building. It's
the way that's worded. It sounds like it was the apartment where Omar's son was living.
The apartment unit.
The apartment unit.
Could we just text Liz? Does anyone want to just shoot her
I know,
a text
I probably should.
and be like, hey, can we just clarify real quick? Because it is insane if he's living in an apartment unit with this guy and there's just guns being brought out of the unit.
I got to imagine there's, at most apartment complexes, there's a police presence in Minneapolis.
All right, we'll put a pin in this one. Let's put a pin in it.
Yeah.
We'll put a pin in it and we'll revisit coming up on Monday's show. Let's do that.
Thanks for derailing that.
I'm glad you did.
When I read it, I read it multiple times, and that word roommate, because I feel like that would be the lead, like Ilhan Omar's.
No, I got you.
Roommate.
Just
whatever.
goes to show you. The John Justice Show, we are a fact-based program.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up.
We want to get the story right.
Listen, Senate of the American Experiment, they do care about facts. They don't just pull things out of thin air. very foundational and fact-based.
I was willing to wildly speculate until AK brought his little sober opinion.
Would have been a lot more fun if we had done it that way, right?
It's because I shaved off my soul patch. I lost part of my soul.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? That's why you're less intimidating.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And it's because I messed it up, and then I just had to go all the way.
So let's do this. Coming up, Democrat governor wants to remove mothers and pregnant women from state health code.
Of course.
So we'll get into this. Also, we have 17 Gen Z slang words that used to have wildly different meanings. So considering that we have wildly different age ranges and generations, I figured this might be fun to go through. So we'll get to that coming up. We'll get to more of your thoughts from the Blaster line on a Freedom Friday, 612-584-4565. And of course, you can email as well, john.justice@americanexperiment.org.
Here's commentary on the latest issues facing Minnesotans from the host, policy fellows, and guests of American Experiment.
I don't think any other state has this besides Minnesota, where, okay, number one, you can vouch for up to 8 people.
Yeah.
But then we also have same-day election registration, and we don't have provisional ballots. So those elements all combined together. We don't. Other states that have same-day voter registration have a provisional ballot, and so when you register to vote, typically, if you're doing it in advance, your registration is checked so that when you actually go to, vote on election day, you've been vetted by the state in some way. But when you have same-day registration, obviously there's not time for that to happen, and so your vote gets counted immediately. It gets put into the pool, and it's never coming back out. Other states, they will have same-day registrants use what's called a provisional ballot. And so, they cast their vote, but it's set off aside, and it's not actually added into the mix until their registration has been verified, which makes sense. Minnesota doesn't have that.
If you would like to support The John Justice Show, become an advertiser. Competitive rates for both personal endorsements and standard ads are available. For more details, email john.justice@americanexperiment.org.
The new video that he posted over this last weekend showed O'Keefe disguising himself in traditional Muslim clothing and then entering a polling place in Minneapolis using the name of a registered voter in that precinct. Now, currently under state law, a registered voter can vouch for up to 8 other people on election day. Their votes, these 8 people who are vouched for by one person, get counted immediately. There's no question. They're not held back in any kind of way. There's no other check that happens. If you walk in on election day and you are not registered to vote, you can have someone next to you saying, I vouch for this person, that they live in my precinct and they should vote. And that, that's the end of the discussion. The exact quote from the election worker in this video was, quote, "You can vouch for them as ID for them. You are the ID." That is insane.
It's John Justice, and you know that feeling when your body is tired but your brain just won't shut off? That's where CBN comes in. It's a naturally occurring hemp cannabinoid known for its relaxing, sleepy effects. CBN helps tell your body that it's time to rest. The Mini Leaf Night and Night Plus Sleep Gummies combine CBN, CBD, and CBG to help you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up feeling refreshed. Free shipping is available this month at MINNELEAF.com. Taste happy at MiniLeaf.com.
All the special interests are represented in St. Paul. But who speaks for you? Center of the American Experiment does. Our policy fellows dig into the tough issues that matter to you and offer common sense solutions on education, taxes, crime, and energy. American Experiment is the trusted, nonpartisan voice of Minnesotans like you. We are working every day to make Minnesota a better, safer, more prosperous place. We are American Experiment. Go to americanexperiment.org to learn more.
Join Center of the American Experiment on Saturday, September 19th for our 2026 fall briefing featuring Byron York. Byron York is the chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner, but you probably know him from his frequent appearances on Fox News. York will give us an update on the race to control the U.S. House and Senate, and will show how Minnesota fits into the 2026 electoral map. Will President Trump beat the odds and grow his power in Congress? Or will Democrats take over and throw Washington into gridlock? Join us at the beautiful winery at Sovereign Estate to hear York's timely message. Plus, enjoy great views, conversation, and food and drink. Tickets are going fast, and we do expect this event to sell out. Get your tickets now at americanexperiment.org/events. That's americanexperiment.org/events.
It's the John Justice Show.
John, you said nobody's defending Neanderthals. Did you ever see a Geico commercial about 15 years ago?
I forgot about
They were hilariously defending Neanderthals.
That's right. I forgot about the Geico commercials. Those were rather famous. Let's go here to the blaster line.
Hey, what's going on, crew? Happy Freedom Friday. Late from Chaska. Hey, at the state fair, at the GOP booth, we should have a YMCA.
Oh, he cut. He said, I don't know why that. Did that get turned off?
Did he call you Drew?
No, he said crew.
No.
Never mind. He was saying that you should have smile, you're on camera. He was saying that Donald Trump smiling, saying, smile, you're on camera. And while he's doing that, have YMCA going and dancing to it. I said, okay, yes, that was a very detailed idea.
Listen, AK's got a seat at the table here. This has to happen at the state fair. This camera,
this is a great idea.
Revolutionize
This needs to happen immediately.
I'll be making phone calls when I leave today.
Okay, you don't have to give credit to me. I mean, I'll be upset if you don't, but you don't have to give credit to me. I'll be hurt and offended and probably cry.
Okay.
Maybe I'll make a new AI song about it. Maybe I can do that. Has some inspiration. Let's go here. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. I'm getting ahead of myself on here, but Josh Shapiro, I had thought would be like a contender, like almost top of the list when it comes to potential Democrat presidential candidates. And now I agree, Max. No, the guy's a lunatic.
He loves Israel too much.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's an idiot.
The Democrats will not support him because he's Jewish.
That's why Kamala Harris didn't pick him. She was going to pick him, and they were like,
I know John was making a different point here. I just got to say, like the far left, literally the Palestine-Israel stuff has so occupied the mind of the people who vote in these primaries. Josh Shapiro, for the same reason he was not picked as Kamala Harris's vice president candidate, is the reason he will not be their presidential nominee. He is Jewish, and they will not pick him.
I had thought that he was more, I don't want to say moderate because I know I'll get pushed back on that. That's not what I mean. But I thought that he was a more mainstream Democrat presidential candidate. And maybe it's because of what you mentioned, because as I get into this story of him removing mothers and pregnant women from state health codes, watching some of the commentary from him, I'm going, oh, no, he's just as hackish and as far left-leaning DSA communist as the rest of them. To that point, the Democrats' administration has removed the female terminology and replaced it with transgender inclusive language in a proposed overhaul of Pennsylvania's health code. The terms pregnant woman and mother of a newborn have been replaced with pregnant or postpartum individual. Throughout the 502-page proposal, which was announced on August 8th, women who have given birth to a stillborn baby are no longer called mother, but are instead referred to as postpartum individual in the proposed regulation changes.
Hey.
Gross.
We're doing this 2026.
Yeah, this is very woke one.
Yeah, very woke one. But you made that point a few Freedom Fridays ago that like it's not over. Like woke is still
it's still there.
It's just, it goes through lulls where it's not as prominent. But I think to your point, Max, because if you want to say like the Achilles heel for Josh Shapiro is that he's Jewish. Too bad for you, Democrats. If you're Jewish and you hate Israel, you're fine. If you're Jewish and you're like Israel ambivalent, you're basically a Zionist shill. And Josh Shapiro happens to fall in this category where he's like, I would say like pro-Israeli-ish. And so because of that, he's going to have to go far left on every other issue, hoping that he can stay somewhat relevant. I think that his actual feelings are that this is nonsensical, but he's got to try and find a lane somewhere. And so he's going to go with like, chest feeding versus breastfeeding and, whatever, like birthing person versus mother. And I think the average person is like, this is stupid. We're not doing this again. They're never going to call someone by that ever.
It reminds me of how quickly Latinx went away, or Latinx.
Oh yeah.
How like they just abandoned that when they were like they pulled like Latino people, and Latino people are like, what the hell? What the hell is this?
Hated it. Yeah, maybe someone asked a real woman like, "How do you feel about this?" And they were like, "Weird. That's gross." Like.
Do either of you get, I mean, because getting offended is a choice. Do either of you get offended, or you just kind of go, whatever? I mean, as women,
I don't get offended. I just think it's stripping away something really, beautiful and wonderful about being a woman as opposed to a man. And you think about the human race and celebrating the miracle of life, and you're just ripping away that beauty, reducing it to the pure biological function and then applying it to men as well. I think I get more upset and kind of grossed out by the intention behind it than offended.
Yeah, I think it's just very insidious because their goal is also to try and claim that there's no difference between the sexes, right? And that goes farther than just this kind of inclusive language. It's that they want no gender roles whatsoever. And I think that that is really kind of insidious and getting to the heart of the nuclear family and the thing that makes, that has made America successful and makes kids and families successful is the structure of a nuclear family.
The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists told doctors to, doing nothing with my fingers, make their offices inclusive and inviting to all individuals who need this type of health care, and to educate themselves in the medical teams about the appropriate language and the healthcare needs of transgender patients in an online statement. It's
like you're looking at a very obvious male dressed like a female and saying, ma'am, I don't want to use the term mother because it might offend you because you'll never be one. Like it's just the insanity behind woke still to this day trips me up for, like, even at its maximum. Let's just say it's like whatever 1.5% of people in the United States, which is a high number, is trans. Like that's what you're so focused on versus all of the actual like biological females that are mothers. You're not worried at all about being offensive to them. That's what has made no sense to me in this entire argument at all.
And it actually speaks to something deeper philosophically that AK brought up earlier in the show. And it's that if Democrats return to team normal, there would be a real opportunity for them. If you had a Democrat who said, I believe, because right now a lot of young people feel like the economy is rigged against them. They feel like they're not getting the shake that their parents had in the country. There would be a real opportunity for a working class Democrat, not a fake working class Democrat, a real one who said, we're not going to indulge the trans stuff anymore. Borders should not be open and you should have a right to your firearms, right? If there was a Democrat who could do those things, they would have a real opportunity in this environment to actually make some moves politically. But their ideology prevents them. Their base ideology prevents them from taking any kind of normal position. To your point, AK, do you think Josh Shapiro actually believes this?
No.
Just north of Josh Shapiro was the main Senate candidate who said he could menstruate out of his butt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you believe that Josh Shapiro actually believes these things? No, he does not. He is trying to indulge a psychotic base, and they're all going to have to do that in less than a year. As the presidential races gear up, you are going to hear horrors beyond your wildest imagination that will prevent these Democrats from actually getting in touch with real American people.
Well, and the part of it that disturbs me, it's by extension, and that is, as somebody that goes in yearly, sometimes more than that, for checkups on my heart, I get CT and echocardiograms. The doctors obviously take an oath, do no harm to help their patients. And again, by extension from this, and there's a comment that I want to play from the blaster line, but it's so disturbing to me that there would ever be a doctor talking to an individual that, say, was going through, before we even get to the children aspect of it, anybody under the age of 18 that's receiving any sort of transgender treatment, I believe that's child abuse. So we'll just set that aside. But even adults, I would hope, and I don't think it's happening, but I would hope those doctors are having conversations with those individuals going through various transitions and explaining to them the long-term potential damage that they are doing to their body. As I've ranted about before, we have very fragile bodies. God made us very specific. He designed us to function in a certain way, but it is fragile. You do have to take care of yourself. And it's already difficult to just live a normal, regular, healthy life, let alone going and doing damage to yourself, especially by injecting chemicals or making physical changes. And I can't help but wonder when you see this type of inclusive language, if it isn't carrying over to doctors who are not expressing the dangers that individuals are actually doing to their bodies by going through these horrible procedures. That's the part of it that drives me the most nuts.
The wild back and forth on that too is that for coming out and saying something like that, John, if you did that 4 years ago, I bet your license would be under investigation.
Yeah, 100%.
And now you are having doctors being sued by people who have detransitioned, and they are winning these cases.
Yeah.
That is how topsy-turvy this American political cultural moment is again, years ago, you would have had your license stripped for coming out and warning of the dangers of trans surgeries. I depending on the state, I guarantee it. And now the reality, because we're finally back to some semblance of reality, it's the great moment of Donald Trump is that we're actually living in a non-woke era where you are getting sued for it and losing now.
Yeah.
So I'll just say, for somebody like Josh Shapiro to sign on to an agreement like this, like indulging something that was popular 4 years ago and is not now, it is only to appease this radical base who has stayed in woke 1.0. Woke 1.0 is the religion. It's forever. It's not something they can move past.
Good morning, John and gang. Holly, friend of the show in Blaine. I actually do get kind of offended, or would get kind of offended if they tried to strip me of the title mother, because honestly, being a mother is the best title I've ever had. I am not a birthing person. It's all dumb. Thanks. Have a great day.
If you want to get a break from all of what we talk about on a daily basis, make sure you head on over to minileaf.com, MINNELEAF.com.
I need some mini leaf.
Take advantage of the spooky mini leaf tonics. They're brewed right here in Eden Prairie. Fantastic alternatives to your alcoholic beverages, the fun gummies, the triple diamond pain cream. Melinda, as I mentioned earlier, came to me and she's like, I could do a blurb for the pain cream. She had horrible neck pain and put some on it, knocked it right out.
Awesome.
The night gummies, I swear by them, gives me a good night to sleep. And the packaging is done locally right here in Brooklyn Park. And the goal of Eric and his wife, Lacey, that run Mini Leaf is for you to live a better life through their products. And I can certainly vouch for that. So head on over and taste happy at MINNELEAF.com. Again, that is minileaf.com. All right, let's go here. The new and constantly evolving slang nowadays can confuse people. Older adults have another bone to pick with it. Recently, an individual on Reddit asked older adults of the community to share words or phrases that younger people have hijacked that bother them. Okay. Never thought about some of these, but there are slang words in this list and phrases that used to mean one thing before, but now they mean something totally new. Now, some of these phrases, even as the oldest of the group here, I was unfamiliar with. But number one on the list was body count. So first off, is body count a phrase that is used?
Yes, sorry. I was expecting to not understand any of these. So
Okay.
I'm glad I'm starting out with one that I know.
Okay, so if I say body count, what does it mean to you, Gen Zer?
It means how many people someone has had sex with.
Okay, all right. Is that the kind of the consensus with everybody else? Okay.
Yes.
So
well, I know both meanings.
Okay,
right?
so what's the other?
meaning? Body count used to mean how many people you have killed, like in the mafia, right?
Okay, so that's where the Redditor went.
Yeah.
So the Redditor went, and I think they said the Gen Z version of it is how many people you've killed, whereas the older version is how many people that you've done hooky talk.
No, you got that mixed up.
It's
it was the other way.
Yes.
Yes.
The old version was how many people you killed. Think old, like
Oh, I guess
the
you're right.
Godfather.
But yeah, or
The
Ice-T's,
Godfather.
what's your body count?
Ice-T's rock band.
Yeah.
If I was watching a movie and some mobster asked another mobster what his body count was, I'd be like,
That's a good point.
that's
All right.
funny. Like, what?
I could see it both ways. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so number two, you ate that.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Killed it.
Yeah. You nailed it. Yeah.
Okay.
You did. Yeah.
I don't remember ever using that term.
That's a new one.
Somebody said, I'm confused by people saying you ate that as a way to say you did that well. Growing up, anytime someone used eat in that context, it usually meant something bad, like eat blank or eat my dust.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like,
that's the old version.
I still use that, like, to eat.
Yeah, you eat it.
Oh, dude,
Or he ate it.
Like yeah.
Oh, I've used
ate
it that way too. Yeah.
Okay.
Like you're
Yeah.
eating the pavement because
Yes.
your face just hit
Yeah.
the
Yes.
pavement.
Eating
Yeah.
it. Falling down.
Okay.
But now it's like, oh, girl, you ate on the dance floor.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
like-
ate that.
She ate
Oh,
that
like,
up.
oh,
yeah.
eat it up.
Okay, yeah, I've never used it. I've never used that term that way.
You should have had AK on camera
I think
because
he
he had some
was.
hand motions
I think he
with that.
Doing eating. Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Mhm.
go. Okay. Number three is out of pocket. So what does out of pocket mean
Oh yeah.
to the Gen Zers here?
Like crazy
Yeah.
out of control, or like, yeah.
Saying something that was just like
That
a little
was-
bit too far.
Yes, too far. That's
Going a little too far.
So for my generation, it was you're paying for, you have to pay for something on your own.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah,
I have another one.
Out of
I've
my
never
pocket.
used it that way.
There's another.
You've never said that was so out of pocket. That's a good.
I
that's a good
don't
phrase.
know. No,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
I would typically use it, meaning I had to pay for it myself.
I
didn't pay for
used
out
it
of
a
pocket.
third
I
way.
use it both ways.
I used it a third
Contextual.
way. When you're out of pocket, it means you're out of the office.
Okay.
You're not available to be contacted.
There's that too. Yeah.
I'm out of pocket today. I'm going to the zoo with my kids.
I'll usually say like in the cut, but out of pocket, I could see that could also be there. But yeah, when I use out of pocket, my context is, it's like, dude, you are misbehaving. This is not the time or the place. Like, you're just acting not socially acceptable. You probably on the tism.
A lot of people at the state fair are out of pocket.
On the tism.
Yeah, man.
You're somewhere
on
on that tism. Okay. Crashing out.
Yeah.
Okay, I like this one.
Okay, so what does crashing out mean to the Gen Zers?
Like having a freak out, like
Okay.
just a little bit of a breakdown.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Think
Have
of
like a stress panic reaction.
Every pro Lindsay Clancy TikTok is a woman crashing out.
Yeah.
Saying that
Okay.
she supports.
So when I was younger, and I think I'm going to have to couple it that way because I have heard this terminology used this way. But when I was younger, it was not used for that. It meant as a means to say I was falling asleep. I'm crashing out. I'm going to bed. I'm taking a nap.
Oh man,
when I was younger, I never used it. Yeah,
man.
Yeah. Okay. The next one says, I miss when hooking up simply meant meeting someone. Like, let's hook up later at the mall. I'm a college professor. I've made a bunch of apparently hilarious statements in class using this type of lingo before anyone explained to me the phrase has changed. It's ruined for me now.
That's one like I feel like my dad has used, and I've been like, you should switch. Just
Stop
say
using
say
that,
it differently than that.
You're
And he's
meeting
like,
up with someone.
Yeah.
So does Gen Z do meeting up now, or
No.
does Gen Z do
means that they are making love or
hooking up,
doing
making out?
Doing sexual things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was that way when I was growing up. Hooking up was I hooked up with somebody.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
there you
so-
go.
yeah,
But
so
you're
I
not-
used it.
I don't feel like you're that old, John.
Mom, well, unfortunately, when we end up having conversations in the middle of the week, and 9 times out of 10, there's a disconnect, especially between Devin and Isaac. It happens all the time. I think you two there may be a male-female thing going on here. Maybe that's the difference. Because I feel like you two are more inclined to align with some of the things that are attached to me being older, but it seems like Devin and Isaac are like lost half the time. On the references that I do during the week. So maybe they do say that women mature faster than men, or right?
Ooh,
Right? Isn't that true? So is that
that's what they say.
I think you both got
Some
some
sense from the other side of the room.
You both got some old souls to you though. Like
Yeah.
there's some tradition.
So do the youngins, I'm just going to go that route. Do people still use the term making out? Is that something that's even in the vernacular for younger generations?
really.
anymore?
Yeah, but you know there's a new one for
Are kids even making out anymore? I mean, they're all on their phones
that's
all
the
the
question.
time.
I just saw an article. There's so many like panic articles over the dating habits of Gen Zers. It's like, no, the kids aren't making out anymore. It's like, okay, I don't know if that's true, but
yeah, that was gross. But you're right. That article is
Like,
always
do you
saying
see these?
things like
I
that.
feel like
Yes,
that's
and it's
my-
like, stop it, you.
Yeah.
But there is a new term for the hooking up, which is cracking.
Yep.
Oh, what's
I have heard
cracking?
that. Yep.
No.
That's for hooking up.
Yeah, like they're Like I don't think I'm using it quite. Can you, Isaac?
They're
Okay,
cracking.
I'm using it right. Okay.
Isaac's got a specific example he wants to use.
Is
here.
it like that couple is cracking? You're going to crack.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not like
That sounds like a destination.
that one I'm not familiar
Where
with.
you heading? Well,
It sounds
I'm
like
heading
very.
to the
It
crack.
might sound like
Crackville.
very, very literal.
that's what the user
Crack it up.
said.
Crackville's
Crack
the
it
new
open, baby.
Crackville's the new Pound Town.
Pound Town. Yeah, going to Pound Town.
Knocking boots has moved off of the vernacular.
Oh,
right?
that's
that
was
was
like
like
grandpa-
that
was
was
like
like
grandpa
grandpa
stuff.
Knocking
was
boots was
born,
huge.
okay?
I
I
thought it was
never
just like
understood
a very
it.
specific Southern.
I never understood
joke.
the terminology.
Well, there's that Jodeci song. Knock, knock, knocking my boot.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go here to the blaster line this morning on the John Justice Show.
Yeah, I'm wondering if anyone there can explain the variation out-of-pocket wallet.
Out of pocket wallet.
Out of pocket wallet.
That's
Yep.
funny. I like that.
All right, next on the list, the whole red pill / blue pill. I take a huge issue with this one, by the way. The article says that one really ticks me off, says the writer. It originated with The Matrix in 1999. I'm actually in the middle of a rewatch of those movies. And now it's been hijacked by incels and male supremacy groups to describe anything they disagree with. No, it's always been red pill, blue pill.
Always.
Reference to The Matrix, meaning, do you want to be in
Escape
reality, escape
Or
reality,
stay in.
or stay in reality? I've never heard that terminology used a different
Did they
way.
mean black pill?
There's
Yeah,
also
black pill, I feel
black
like
pill
is
and
more-
white pill.
Yeah, white pill.
And clear pill.
So let's go through the pills real quick.
Sometimes AK throws one in there that's like no one else has heard of, and we just move past it. It's like maybe
Wait, what did you just say?
Clear pill.
What's a clear?
What
clear
is that
pill?
one?
Clear pill is just
Viagra?
clear pill is just like, yep, we're just gonna be normal. It's just it's clear. We're gonna be normal.
I've never heard clear pill.
Yeah.
Okay, but Max, you wanted to go
Hang
through
on.
the pills.
I actually want to defer to AK to give us the dictionary definition of all modern pills when you hear them online. So let's start with black pill. What does black pill mean?
Black pill is when you're like, yeah, man, this is the worst possible scenario. It's very, very pessimistic. And it means that basically like the future's bleak.
Okay, white
Nihilism.
pill.
White pill is
Doom and
the
gloom.
future is very positive.
Okay.
And there's amazing things, and we're very, very optimistic. That's
It's like a glass half full, glass half empty kind
no,
of thing.
it's just
Is it?
glass is 100% full. And everything is amazing.
Oh, I meant black pill, blue pill combination.
No, but here we go. Here we go. Red pill then.
Red pill means that you are awakening to the reality that exists, where you have the ability to break away from the structure that is keeping
Matrix.
you locked in, like the Matrix.
And then blue pill, is that used online?
Blue pill kind of is used as a pejorative to say someone that is refusing to want to accept that they're being controlled, and they instead would rather just be part of the system because it's easier, and they want to be cucked by the system, if that's the term that we'll probably throw in with the people that would use
We don't have
in
to.
the red
but-
pill for a blue pill.
And then we got clear pill from AK, and he
Yeah.
just described that.
Yeah, clear
So there
pill
you
is
go.
just like, yeah, we're
There's the vernacular when you're talking about pills online. When
Well-
you see somebody who's saying I'm black pilling today, it doesn't mean they're taking some
Drugs.
dark medicine.
And this is going to make for a fantastic clip that you can watch on replay at the new social media accounts for the
Yes.
John Justice Show of John Justice Show at both Instagram and TikTok.
This is
I'm
very
a prof-
important
I'm a
stuff.
professional.
Very important. Yes.
Number 7 on the list was POV. Now the article says, I know,
Really?
just bear with me.
This
Bear
is
with me.
misused so frequently.
So they say this is a very specific term from film and screenwriting that means point of view, as in literally filmed if we are seeing things through the eyes of the character. Now this term just gets thrown around seemingly in every TikTok video as a general term for someone's viewpoint or opinion.
It's so annoying. Wide misuse of the POV abbreviation.
You
on
are like
TikTok.
you're like a grammar supremacist. This is like my husband. We always said he can't appreciate the POV TikToks because he's like that's a misuse of the. You know, I'm like
it's not
calm down
hard.
with your
I just
grammar.
don't understand how people. It's not that difficult. I'm sorry.
But now it's used as like, you know, if you film a video and it's like POV and it's like, you know, you should imagine yourself as you're watching the video as the person who's filming the video.
It's just
Correct.
merged to mean something else. Essentially, people. It's become its own entity. That
I'm
is
kind of
not-
with Grace on this. Yeah, it shouldn't be used that. It shouldn't be used. that way.
I get it, but the reason why it's like I'm giving my point on the and here's my view, right? Which is a redundant thing. That's why when people start using it, when I was making a lot of videos on TikTok, I would just say this is my opinion because that's
Well, it
literally
used
what
to
I'm
be,
doing.
the predecessor to this is basically the hot take, which people still use.
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
that would be a more accurate introduction for like how it's being used now, which is just here's my take on this.
And the
or
reason why
this
it's
happened to
important
me.
is because plenty of people make TikToks where they're not expressing any viewpoint. It's just their
Their
putting
life.
on makeup or like something like
Postpartum
that.
crash outs, throwing ice into a bathtub.
Yeah, but that's
Sorry
the
to
whole
sorry to bring
POV.
that up.
It's to let people know that you're about to impart your opinion on a topic versus making just random commentary on some specific point happening in life.
Are we going to get that verdict today, by the way, in that horrible mother
It's
that
gonna-
murdered her children
Don't you think
thing?
it's going to take him a while?
I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not. I can't believe
She should be thrown. She should be thrown in prison. So
Yeah, she should,
Oh,
yeah.
she should be worse than that.
Yeah, she should be a lot of the words on.
I just
here.
don't-
Terms of service.
I don't
TOS.
care why you killed your 3 kids. Doesn't matter. to me.
Amen.
You
No,
killed your
still
3 kids.
didn't.
Yep. Still killed them.
All right, let's go here to before we move on to more of these slang words because there's a couple here that we definitely need to get to. Let's go here to the Blaster line on the John Justice Show, presented by American Experiment on a Freedom Friday.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, how about this blast from the past? Maybe you, even John, are too young for this one.
No.
Anybody remember the term necking?
Necking.
Yeah.
Have a great Freedom Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah, I feel like the
Knocking?
younger generations. I
Necking.
feel like
Necking.
I feel like they're not necking.
It's like, what's knucking?
Are young kids still doing hickeys? Is hickey still a thing? Is that still a thing anymore?
In the hood and trailer parks, yeah.
Along with making
constant.
out. I just think that we've lost the art of all those things. I don't think kids are.
You should write an article about it.
Yeah, necking's like a 50s, 60s.
Yeah, it's an extension of making out.
It just means
You're
like
saying you're necking,
like because your necks are like touching each other.
or you're
when-
kissing
Yeah,
the
I've
neck
never
or
understood
whatever,
that
or you're
one.
focused
I don't
on the
like
neck
that at
area.
all.
You know, just things like that. No, let's move on to the next one, shall we? Number 8. So, goat has completely flipped from being someone you blamed for messing up, short for scapegoat, to stating something is
Greatest
the
of all
best,
time.
greatest of all
Greatest
time.
of all time.
I don't remember ever it being the
Scapegoat.
No, I never. Yeah, I've never. I don't.
Like
I
the
don't
shortened
recall.
version?
No,
Yeah, I've
this
not-
this flipped overnight almost in sports.
Because I know the GOAT greatest of all time. I've never heard it used the other way.
Yeah, sports. I remember growing up and like when you said he's the GOAT or he got goated or whatever, you know, like that meant that you messed up severely. And then in sports, it changed real quick. I feel like this was like an overnight thing where the GOAT became transferred from a bad thing to a really good thing, and it happened really quick in sports specifically.
It was basically, from my recollection, it was. I think it was Brady.
Yeah,
Tom Brady.
that's what I was thinking.
Where like at first
100%.
like this is someone said something like greatest of all time.
Yeah, that's
and then
where
it
I think it
became, and then
stemmed
it was
from.
like who's the GOAT of NBA and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Next on the list at number 10 is cornhole. Everybody got quiet. So, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm like, what meaning do I not know?
So it's now a game played with just bean bags. According to the story, it used to refer specifically and exclusively to Hookita in an uncomfortable place.
Yes, the beehole. Because you got to remember,
Not like the back of a Volkswagen.
The beehole.
Yeah.
But if you remember Beavis and Butthead, okay, Beavis used to pull his shirt up. And oh, I'm the great cornholio.
Cornholio, I need TP for my bunghole. Yeah,
TP for my bunghole.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that was corn. But this was corn. But he was right. He was a great corn Julio. That's right. Okay.
Wow.
Needed TP for
Let's do this. Is this what the 90s were like?
What the next one?
Yeah, the golden era. The golden era of America. That's what it was like.
You know, I'm going to go ahead and move 13 and 12 around because I feel like this next one kind of fits into the category of where we were, and everybody's already uncomfortable.
We're
So
already here. Yeah,
we might
let's
as well go to goon. It used to
Oh.
describe doing something silly. Now it's used as another
I'm not
term.
explaining this one.
Yeah.
I actually don't know this one.
I don't know this
Oh,
one.
I know
Oh, you
this
don't
one.
know the goon and the gooning and the gooner?
Oh my gosh.
It's almost exclusively male. Much.
okay.
Yeah. So
Okay, sure.
taking care of business.
You should
I
not
didn't- I
clip
didn't know
any of this.
Yeah.
This should not be preserved for.
I didn't know that's what
Street.
gooning was. I thought gooning, okay, was
Doubling
What-
down, dude.
I am doubling down.
Stop saying
I'm
it.
Make clips of this. Was
Make
essentially when
clips.
someone is like kind of like a mob-ish, like that dude's a goon. Like
Yeah.
he
That's what it used to be.
He's
Well,
really
there was
a goofy person, I
Yeah.
would say.
There was a movie-
earlier goons as like, yes, like henchmen almost. And then it was like, oh, you're a goofy person.
Yeah,
and now it's something else.
I'm
Now
a
it's something
goofy.
horrible.
Oh, okay. I'm
Now
a
it's
goofy
something horrible.
generation.
Well, Sean William Scott had a hockey movie called The Goon. I think it was The Goon. The Goon. Yeah. All right. It used to be bad to get duped, tricked, or deceived. Now it's a good thing. That means copy or duplicate of a pricier product at a cheaper price.
I've never heard this one.
Yeah.
I have heard that.
You have.
It's kind of like a knockoff used in a positive way. Like here's this really expensive makeup product, but there's a dupe of it at Target instead of Sephora.
All right.
That's
Temu
kind of the
basically made it a thing because Chinese ripping off all of our American intellectual property and they dupe everything.
Okay.
Yeah, it was before then.
Isn't that Dua Lipa's like nickname? Don't they combine the two?
No,
no, it's not a thing. Okay.
That's a good dad joke though.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. 14 is gaslighting. It used to only refer to playing tricks on someone to make them think they were losing their mind. And the article says now whenever someone gets lied to by another person, that person says they're being gaslighted. And they're just using the terminology wrong. It's the former. It's never the other. It's never just getting lied to by another person. It's always...
No, there's a difference between lying to somebody and gaslighting.
And gaslighting, 100%.
Because somebody that old definition still works.
Right.
It does.
For what you're trying to convey
The
in
new
modern
one
times.
does not make any... That doesn't
I
apply
think
to
people
me.
just misuse it. And
Yeah,
that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Because gaslighting is a specific psychological phenomena where you slowly convince someone that they're losing their mind by basically playing tricks on them and deceiving them so you can control them. That's what gaslighting is. And it literally comes from like turning the gas on.
There was
the
a movie,
stove. Yeah.
It's like when Joe Biden said that this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, right?
Correct.
Like that's gaslighting because they had the data to say that no, that's not true. He knew it was not true, but he wanted to impose on the American psyche that they were the weird ones for not getting vaccinated.
Denying someone's reality.
Low key, it used to mean quiet, subtle, clandestine. Now it means what exactly? Sort of like ruined a perfectly good term with a rich history. Low key, is this being used differently than that?
Don't you think that definition is still
yeah, that's still
works.
applicable.
It's just more widely used,
Okay.
maybe. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Like if
That's
I
low key really cool.
yeah, or like
it's paired with other
terms.
Like I low key like that girl. It means you're trying to be subtle about
Yeah.
it. You
Correct.
don't want everyone to know about it.
Hoping we can
But
make
You don't want to
out,
put
do
it
some
on
necking.
blast. You know, be put on blast. Low key. Put on blast.
We'll just blow past this next one. They have raw dogging in here, but we'll just leave it and we'll just go. We'll go
Just
past
like
it.
Catherine was doing last
Seriously.
week with her feet on the couch.
They basically
Just raw
I
dogging.
was gonna say, we were talking about raw dogging yesterday when it's on an airplane.
Yes.
You know about raw
I hate
dogging?
when
Okay,
people raw dog
I
their
do
airline
want to
seat.
speak on this one. I do want to speak on this one because it used to mean something very vulgar, right? Like, and it still
It
does.
still is, kind
it
of.
still is vulgar, but like the definition has become lighter, right? Because when you say you're raw dogging something, that used to be something not great.
And like a couple weeks ago, I took my shoes off. Okay, just to be clear, that's what he's referencing. I took my shoes off on this chair.
Everybody's scrambling for the date of that show. What show was that one?
Took my shoes off. I don't think they were in the shot even.
But like there was a trend that people were like raw dogging flights,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah.
And what that meant was you're going to go through an entire flight. You're not going to look at your phone. You're not going to watch the screen in front of you. You are going to sit and just stare ahead of you for the entire 3-hour flight that you have. Basically, what it means now is you're just doing the thing. You're just doing it the old way.
The article says the person said, I can't stand the use of raw dogging for anything other than its original meaning because it's so crude.
Yeah.
They don't like other people applying it to something else because they immediately think of the original terminology.
Correct.
That's crude.
They
that's crude
can't
to
get their mind.
Yeah, I did ask a coworker if you raw dogged that flight, and then I was like, "Am I Kaholi her? Like, am I like so maybe inappropriate that I said that?"
And if he did, how did he do that? Go ahead.
So the other raw dog aspect, because when I hear it, it's almost like a marrying of the two, where it's like when people are like, "Oh, are you raw dogging this flight?" It's like, "Oh, you weren't wearing a mask. Oh, you were raw dogging this flight. You put your nasty feet on the seat in front of you. That also is raw dogging." So I think that there's a lot of context here with raw dogging, and it could be like, "Oh, you raw dog that pickle when you reached into that jar, not at your house, and you just put your finger in there and you pulled it out with your nasty fingers without a glove instead of grabbing like a fork." That's also raw dogging.
Okay.
Wow.
I can see that.
I'm glad we had this conversation.
We're not done yet. Let's go here to the blaster line on the John Justice Show. We'll hear from a friend of the show.
Hey, John, former neighbor Mike here. I'll show my 70s formative years. Does anybody go parking anymore? You couldn't go necking if you didn't go parking. I know.
Yeah. So that's definitely more of a 70s term. I don't remember that. Like in my terminology growing up, we didn't do parking.
I think I can figure it out.
Parking's just making out
in your car?
In your parked car, right?
I mean, I did that in the late 90s with my girlfriend. All right. Yeah.
The last one on the list.
You're fascinating.
Yeah, you know what?
One time, cops came up
You're
on there like, "You got to
fascinating to
get out
talk
of this
to."
park," and I'm like, "Oh."
Lastly, they say cringe used to refer to a facial expression that one makes when experiencing any kind of discomfort. Now it's an adjective used to describe something uncool or embarrassing.
It's the same thing.
It's always
just,
been-
again, it's just used more widely.
It's always been
now.
both. I've always
I mean,
been cringe. Has always been, yeah.
But it's become a descriptor now.
Yeah.
So like
Correct.
John is
Sure.
cringe, which means that John is cringe worthy.
Yes, which is like adjective versus verb, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it just kind of shifted.
Which is different than sponge-worthy. Just so we're clear. So
I'm not
for your-
familiar
for
with
your-
that one.
For your Seinfeld, that's a site that there are at least 5 people laughing at that joke right now. I know that.
My
I
wife
know
would be
that.
laughing at that
I know
one.
that for certain. So, that ends that list. I'm going through the talkbacks here. If I wanted, let's go here.
Hey, let's burn that, okay? Let's burn that piece.
Lesson to never go on Reddit.
Was in the military, POV and personal vehicle, and then we had to claim our personal vehicle. So I don't know where POV.
A personal
Now,
vehicle in the military was POV. I'm not familiar with that.
What does the O stand for in that
I have
acronym?
I have no idea. Let's wrap on this story. Speaking of, well, not really terminology. I don't really have a good segue into it. I just want to talk about it.
Let's just talk about it.
So, has everybody seen the controversial Target costume
Yes.
for the
Yes.
child that was removed?
Yes.
Okay. Where do we first off, do we believe that it was intentionally made that way, or was it just supposed to be a Halloween clown suit?
It was not intentional.
Okay.
Do some people say it is?
Oh yeah,
People
Oh,
are
yeah.
saying it is. Yeah.
There's
just
okay,
no
let me
way.
rephrase. Do any normal people think that it was intentional?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a scary clown.
And the only reason why it was, in my view, the only reason why it was controversial was because there was a black child in that particular
Correct.
costume.
If
That was a white
And the
child. it
costume's
wouldn't have
weird
mattered.
AF. Like, let's just also acknowledge it's a weird costume. Who's putting their kid in that? If I went to the store and was like, "Mom, I want to be that," she'd be like,
Yeah, it's a dumb
"No."
costume.
It's so weird.
Well, here's what I will say. Because of YouTube being a thing, there's like this weird, spooky, like, and it's been around for like 5+ years of like the scary grandma, right? The granny game that all these kids are playing, and then they're watching people play it on YouTube.
Oh, I'm completely
And,
unfamiliar with this.
And like
I mean-
Slender Man, like all of these
Oh,
different
I know about Slender Man.
hyper, like I would say on a scale of scariness, we're talking about Secret of Nim, it's like at a 10 for what you can show that is just demonically scary, but then they show it to kids and they don't show any blood or gore. So that's kind of a thing now with that age group, where instead of just like a scary clown that kind of maybe looks like it in a normal, like without it putting out its fangs, that's kind of what it is. But I think 100%, the only reason why this is a thing is because we are 70-ish days away from the general election, and they are grabbing at every possible straw to make black people feel like Republicans are racist. And then when they go on this rant, anyone that says like this is not racist, you're like, aha. And Republicans are going to be like, this isn't racist. And they say, see, even Republicans, they want to put y'all back in chains. That's what I think.
This was Target, though, right? Of all the
Uh-huh.
companies to go after and say they're making a racist costume.
Without the costume in front of me, didn't it feel like it's part of this popular toy trend, Labubu? Like there was this big teeth smile.
That is interesting.
It does kind of.
I thought it was just a big Labubu where like the costume.
I don't think it was meant to be that, but you're right. It is very evocative of a Labubu.
Yeah, where like
I
you got
just like
these
saying Labubu.
you got these big like
sharp teeth.
And
Yeah.
you got these big sharp teeth, and the costume, at least from my view of it, was like you had kind of this monster costume and then this big smile with like sharp teeth, and that's what I thought it was invoking. But then like the woke crowd was kind of like, well, that's racist because
it's a black kid.
Well,
yeah.
I had the same reaction to this as I did to the Good ad. Did you guys watch that one?
No, I didn't know that. What's a good
the golf ad.
Yeah, the golf ad. There's like a golf ad that's going around that they got canceled for where
For
it's like
Callaway.
a parody of for Callaway. It's like a parody of Obsession. I don't know. Basically, a man pushes a woman to the ground. That's the bad part. And it is a little weird if you watch it. Like you're like, why is this man shoving this girl to the ground? It's like kind of strange.
It's a bad ad. I mean,
It's a bad ad,
stupid.
and I think it's a bad costume. And like, how did it get through all these departments where someone wasn't like, let's just like scrap that one because it's weird or bad or gives me an ick? Like, I don't know,
100%.
not to use another weird term from Gen Z, but they both to me felt, but they shouldn't all be canceled for it. And everyone's, never go to Target again, never buy whatever this good thing is. That's too far.
Yeah,
It's
where
stupid.
did all the DEI departments go that you didn't catch? That you didn't catch the supposedly racist costume.
You know who was a big fan of the Good ad was Fang Fang. Just wanted to throw that out there.
The good thing.
The reason I brought this up, as we get ready to wrap the show up, there's an editorial in the Star Tribune today. Taylor Schlitz says Target's offensive Halloween costume is exactly what DEI was supposed to prevent. Target wants to know how something like this got through, but it's not a mystery when the company has retreated from corporate diversity initiatives.
Oh, not enough DEI? That's her argument?
So first off, it's not like the DEI officers getting paid exorbitant amounts of money. If the company wants to go and hire them, that's on them. But it was costing these corporations a ton. It's not like that DEI employee would have caught this costume moving through. They're not doing quality inspections on these items. The now pulled Halloween costume, for those that aren't familiar, featured an orange and black outfit, black gloves, and a top hat, and a grinning mask with exaggerated teeth. Critics immediately saw echoes of blackface in the Jim Crow era minstrel caricatures. Yeah. I can tell you firsthand, being 54 years old, I could not conjure up in my mind what that was supposed to look like. Like, I had to go look at the Jim Crow era minstrel
you're
picture
normal.
To see
your brain is
any
working.
correlation. If I didn't see that initially, there's no way that anybody younger than me was ever going to make that correlation. No. There was somebody already familiar, already agenda-driven that did this. And as a matter of fact, this to me is an example of why you don't need DEI, because guess what? The court of public opinion had its say. It popped up. Somebody complained about it. Target went, we really don't want the controversy. It's not going to cost us a dime if we don't sell this costume, because it probably wasn't going to sell anyways, because it's a dumb costume for a kid. This actually shows that DEI is completely unnecessary.
Well, yeah, because no one knew what it was, because we're not watching minstrel shows in our free time. That seems like a win.
You're racist for noticing that.
Right.
What are you thinking about?
Well, so here's what's so dumb about it, right? And like you said earlier, do average people look at this and think anything like, is this racist? Of course they don't. The fact that you have a black-faced, like painting black on a face, doesn't automatically make it a minstrel show. Venom, a very popular kind of like villain anti-hero, technically, I guess, has blackface, because Peter Parker or Brock or whoever is currently being infected by the symbiote known as Venom is white, and then they suddenly become black. I'm actually really surprised that hasn't become a thing for the world to make go it after. Thing. But it's the same thing. So just by the simple fact that a clown mask is black makes it blackface is insane. The fact that they used a black kid, like you were saying, if that would have been a white kid, some people might have had a problem with it, but no one would have cared. It's the simple fact that it's a black kid. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason they care, which to me, isn't that kind of like supposed to be representation? So when they say that it wouldn't have gotten through, you can't have black kids play like scary clowns. Like, I don't even know what we're trying to say.
That's a great point. That is a great point. And you know what? We'll go out with that one. Looking at the clock. Holy cow. We've blown past the third hour here on the John Justice Show, presented by American Experiment. Before we say goodbye this morning, we'll go around the room. Katherine Johnson, thank you so much for coming in. Glad you're back. Anything you want to mention?
Check out tickets for our annual fall briefing. It is on September 19th at the beautiful Sovereign Estate Winery. We have Byron York coming in to talk about his midterm election predictions, and it is one of my favorite events of the year. I can't wait. So check it out, americanexperiment.org/events.
Grace Keating.
And then, of course, come see the American Experiment one day only at the State Fair booth in Dan Patch Park tomorrow, Saturday. John will be there from 11 to 1, but we will have a presence there all day long. You can win some free merch, say hi. It's going to be awesome.
We got a lot of great
one
stuff.
Day every year. So,
yeah, we got a lot of great stuff we're going to be handing out. I'm looking forward to it. Representative Max Reimer, deep thoughts?
Not right now, but I do have something else you can put on your calendar. September 17th, we are having a Save Our State event up in Chisago County at Split Rocks in Wyoming. Dinner is on you. It's at 5 p.m., but we're having a program at 6 p.m. with some awesome candidates throughout Minnesota who are in really tight races. So September 17th, Split Rocks in Wyoming. If you want more information on that, go to ChisagoGOP.org. It's on the events page. We want you up there. These candidates are going to need help. They're all in races that have been determined by less than 2 or 3%.
And lastly, the most intimidating man in Republican politics, A.K. Kamar. Anything before we let you go this morning, sir?
Nope, just have a great weekend. Go to the State Fair. Go stop by the Republican Party Minnesota booth. It's
gotta get that camera
say
up.
Hello to everyone. We'll try and figure out how we can get a camera out there. But just be a decent human. Have a good weekend.
Isaac.
Nothing to announce, but a quick shout out to my brother and sister-in-law. Found out that I'm going to be an uncle yesterday.
Oh, congratulations! You know what? We can actually. I'm slow on here, but we can. Relax. Studio audience this morning. Thank you so much for spending time with us this morning and all week long. If you missed any portion of the show, you can check out the podcast on the MixLR app and across all major podcast platforms. If you want to do a rewatch of today's Freedom Friday show or any show this week, head on over to Center of the American Experiment, both Facebook and YouTube, and Rumble as well. You can watch the show there. Follow us on our new social media platforms and never miss the highlights from the show. John Justice Show on both Instagram and TikTok. Have yourself a fantastic weekend. We're racing in Daytona tonight and tomorrow night. I'm very excited. So I look forward to talking to you guys on Monday morning at 6 a.m. God bless, and I hope that you all have an absolutely fantastic weekend. We'll talk to you Monday. Bye.
Static waves at dawn, a voice that lingers when night is gone. Twin cities hum with stories spun. John Justice rides the rising sun.